Good Saturday morning, everybody. Asla Senpai here. Welcome to whatever the hell we're doing today. And I'm joined by a special guest, returning for his second time, Tim.
Hi, everybody.
So, what have you been up to?
Oh, surviving, getting by. Uh, took some time to kind of figure some stuff out with life and, kind of avoid the overflow of other informations. Now, back here.
So, aside from the few cards I've already sent you, have you been paying attention to clan collection?
Really not too much. Like I said, I stepped back, took some time away from the game, wanted to kind of recenter myself and then come back to it with a fresh mind.
Okay. There we go. All right. So what we're gonna do today is for you, and I guess for everyone else, we're gonna go over every card in the new premium series.
It should be fun.
And I want your reaction to things, what you think is like, wow, that's really cool, or whatever. If you want to rate it out of whatever, you're more than welcome to.
Okay, I don't mind providing some opinion.
So the thing about this set, okay, so before we go in, every clan's getting a new Stride, a new G-Guard, and a reprint of the previous two critical triggers. So the one that goes into Soul to draw a card plus 10, and the Stride Fodder.
Okay, that makes sense.
Another thing about this is every pack, like Revival Selection, every pack is clan-based. So you open a pack, it's a Narukami pack.
That's all.
Or a Dark Irregular pack. Or Neo Nectar pack.
Okay, that's smart. Kind of gives you more of an option to get everything in one pack, even though it's, of course, random.
Yeah. It's like you don't know what pack you'll be getting, but...
you know that you're going to be getting everything you might want from it.
Exactly. Okay, so we're just going to go right down the list. First, we're going to cover the Strides and then the G-Guards.
Alright.
So we got our first one for Royal Paladin. It's Stunned Divine Knight Erodius. So what it does is when it attacks, counterblast 1, turn a card face up in your G-Zone. Draw the same number of cards as the number of your rear guards. Choose the same number of cards from your hand as the number of cards drawn. Call them to rear guard circle. Then if you have 5 or more rear guards, get a force marker.
That's, I could see that definitely being something that could hurt. I mean, with Royal Paladin's ability, it almost kind of has like a Gold Paladin feel to it.
Kinda.
But I would rate it maybe like a 4 out of 5 or 4.5, give or take. It's definitely something that I could see having a place in a lot of decks and able to just really, really hit with some hard, I don't want to say force, but force.
Okay. So like a scale of 1 to 5. Like 1 being low, 5 being like...
I would say like a 4 or a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely, it's one of those things that, like I said, it could allow you to hit your opponent more than once, of course, more than just your standard 3 attacks, and come in swinging with extras, as well as providing you with different cards on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking, let's say your hand, you're calling out grade 3s, you could be changing it for grade 2s, you could be changing it for other things, and there's obviously cards that could interact with it that I could see being just, like I said before, painful, and very, very much a force for the deck.
Force of force.
Force of force.
Alright. So next we'll go over OTT. Now if you want to read this one, you're more than welcome to. This one's kind of a doozy.
Okay. Get a little So for this one, we have Happiness Spinning Non-Dead Dragon King. Alright. So, we've got an axe skill. Once per turn, turn a card from your G-Zone face up. Reveal a card from the top of your deck equal to the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone plus 2. Call all the normal units revealed from among them to rear circle. and put all the trigger units revealed from among them into your hand and shuffle your deck. Then activate the trigger effects of all the revealed cards. OTT staying with that, punishing your opponent with seeing the top of the deck. Gotta love that. Oh, it's very reminiscent of playing, like, it reminds me of Ultima in a sense.
Huh.
That feeling that Ultima gives you. Okay, I'm gonna be able to hit triggers, but also kind of still keeping the OTT standard, you might say.
That makes sense. Now, you gave the last one a 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5. How would you...
That's... Oh, because I don't want to go straight for perfect, but at the same time, like I said, that fits with just a lot of decks out there in OTT, and a lot of that. Oh, I'm gonna rate that one I'm gonna give it the 5. I hate to give it the 5, but I'm gonna give it the 5.
Wow, dropping the perfect score so early.
It's simple though. It gives you what you need straight off the bat. It doesn't make you jump through a lot of hoops, and it just opens up the possibility to not only resupply your field, but to be able to hit those trigger effects in a game that plays stands, fronts, critical,
Over.
The over trigger. Oh god, the over trigger. Yeah, I could see that being that right there. You would instantly be able to play it out. So, yeah, I'm gonna stick with the 5 on it.
All right. All right. Next, we have Angel Feather.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, act on Vanguard cost. Discard a card from hand. Choose a total up to 3 cards from your drop zone and circles other than Vanguard, and put them into your damage zone face up. All your front row units gain plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn for each normal unit put. This unit gets drive +1 until the end of the turn for each trigger put. Choose a card from your damage zone for each card put and heal it.
Alright. Pretty standard Angel Feather affair. And so far, at least from the 3 that I've seen, they're definitely keeping with a lot of the established themes of the clans, which is kind of nice.
There's one little caveat to this that I don't really see people talking about.
Go ahead.
It's the part where it says, and circles other than Vanguard. Circles.
So you're implying, say, having an Excel marker?
No. So, think about it. It lets you grab things off of circles, not units, circles.
Oh, well, we get around resist, for starters.
And lock.
And lock, yeah.
Those kind of my...
Oh.
It's an anti-Link Joker card.
Anything anti-Link Joker is good. No offense to Link Joker players out there.
Sorry, Justin.
It's a great deck. I love it. I've played it myself. But I've also had some harsh moments playing against Link Joker that have,
And if you're just joining the chat, we're rating Tim's rating all the new strides and G-Guards. There's also new channel rewards, so check those out. I think I got the soundbot working, but I'm not 100% sure. So okay. So how would you rate this card? It's definitely, I would say it's better than the past 2 premium collection strides.
It's definitely good. It's not as secure in what it does, I say, as compared to the other 2. So I'm only gonna rate it probably with just the 4, maybe 3.8, 4.
Really?
Range. It's good. It's very good, but
like the ability to be like, hey, you got problematic stuff in your damage,
yeah,
heal it out. If you want a drive, you put triggers. If you want your front row gain power plus 10.
But it's also it's limiting in how much do you want to change stuff around. I mean, because it's an Angel Feathers are definitely one of those decks, having played it, where you really do have to kind of sometimes stop and think about your moves. And this is one of those cards that, yeah, it can hit, it can do a lot, it can all that, but when you have the opportunity to play it, may not be when you want to play it. And I can see that being a case of, well, when I want to go for this or this. It definitely is better than the previous strides that I've seen, though. Angel Feathers have kind of gotten a little bit of the shaft a little bit. Not too bad, but...
So, 3.8?
I'd say 3.8 to 4. It's solid. Not as versatile as the others, but it's definitely a solid card.
Okay, so now we have Shadow Paladin.
Woohoo!
So this card's really cool. So, Crouch.
That has to be in some way Welsh.
Probably. I mean, look at this art. This art is...
It is beautiful. It's... What does it remind you of? Like, do you see some, like, another card?
Well, it obviously reminds me of, like, Blaster Dark.
Okay.
What do you think?
I get that reminiscent of, like, Blaster Dark, even to some elements of Mordred. You know, just... It's nice. I like it.
Okay. So at Dawn Vanguard, once per turn, cost, retire two rear guards. Your opponent chooses 3 of their rear guards, retires them. Then if 3 cards were not retired, until the end of this turn, this unit gets auto on Vanguard once per turn. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked, counterblast 1, retire 2 rear guards, stand this unit, and get power plus 10.
Ooh. Okay.
So you're kind of ultimately killing off 4 rear guards, but if you're playing like a blaster deck, because you play blasters, we have multiple cards that count as 2.
Mm-hmm.
So in reality, instead of retiring 4, you're actually retiring just simply 2.
But it could be 2, 3, just depending on what your setup is at the time in which you use it. First of all, just the fact that it can cause your opponent to basically have to guard for more or have to deal with more of an impact. Definitely sticking with the Shadow Paladin. It's a versatile card in its own way. It provides you with kind of a when and where. Like, oh hey, okay, I've got the right cards in hand. This would be the perfect time to play this. Or one of those, alright, go for broke. This is what I got. Double down.
Do the thing.
Hopefully the thing works, because...
The cool thing is it's not like locked behind a GB.
Yes.
So this is a very good first stride.
Mm-hmm. Especially, if, like I said, if you're sitting with the right cards in hand early game, that first stride to come in and make your opponent either take damage early or burn hand. I'm going to say a 4.3 for the rating. That artwork, I'm loving that artwork.
So you just bump it up to 4.5?
4.5,
just because
we'll say.
Skill and artwork is just like...
Yeah, we'll say 4.5, just overall, because that's a card I would definitely run in my deck.
Alright. Next up is Golds. Now, I've already gone on about this card. I love this card. So, you go ahead and read it, and you can tell me.
Okay. So, Continuous Vanguard. All of your rear guards placed by a card's ability this turn get power plus 5,000. Oh, okay. Auto Vanguard once per turn. When this card attacks, counterblast 1, put all of your at-rest rear guards on the bottom of your deck in any order. Choose up to 2 cards from your hand and call them to rear circles. If you put 4 more cards on the bottom of your deck, at the end of that battle, stand this unit, it gets drive -2.
How long have I been asking for a restanding stride in Gold Paladin?
No. Like I said before, you don't need it. Just no.
Well, I got it.
Now you got it. No.
We're getting it.
Oh, this hurts my soul. Gold Paladin has hurt me so much. But that is a wonderful skill. I think that for Gold Paladin, that services so much with for you guys. Being able to not only call new cards and kick off even more skills, because we've seen how well that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But to get that restanding Vanguard, which, like you said, is definitely something that you've needed for so long. And it's universal. It doesn't just have to be played with, of course, your Ezel. You can play that in others. It's not limited, because, like, going back with the Shadow Paladin, it would be best to play it in the Blaster deck, but you could play it in other stuff. I can see this being universal. You could drop this into just about any build and, oh, hey, here we go. Oh, I'm going to give it the perfect.
Wow.
Well, my reasoning on this one is just simply, it gives you guys something you've needed. It fits with every single thing that you could ask for just about every build of Gold Paladin. And it's just a solid deck, a solid card. It's and it's not limiting either. Like you said, again, it's not hidden behind a GB skill. It's also not something that, is requiring you to do anything more than, let's just have 4 cards on the field to put to the bottom of the deck. That's so hard for Gold Paladin, especially on the first stride.
Like, a lot of players are saying it's actually not all that good because you're not plussing as much. But I kind of disagree with it. I think so you're recycling. Okay, cool, that's fine. And you're calling out 2 cards. So your drive check really, instead of having 4 cards plus, you're really only gaining 1 or 2.
Well,
but it's at the same time you're kind of breaking even, or you're kind of netting, and it's like, well, so what? The restanding Vanguard is always going to be important. The recycling is always. You're
still getting another drive check. And what about what happens when you have, say, 2 or 3 Excel circles already sitting open? You've got plenty of rear guards, plenty of spots for you to fill, plenty of extra stuff that you can do. Not to mention you're recycling some of your other cards to use later in the game. You're giving yourself a lot of options with this card and a lot of control almost. I'm gonna stick with my answer. I think it's.
You can go with the 5.
Yeah, and I can understand a lot of people's opinion on it because you're taking away some of that, plus, like you were saying. But at the same time, I think you're gaining more than you're losing.
Okay. Let's see here. So, want your opinion on something. You think it's worth getting a G zone for V decks so it can be played in either V or premium formats? Because debating on doing that for that reason. Yeah, I think so. Like, a lot of premium decks are built on a V premium base. There are very few decks now that don't use any older cards. Like they're as the main deck.
This relates to something I was talking with you about last night that I would love to see. One of my favorite decks to play in the old format before we switched over to V was right there at the very end, and that was Zodiac Time Beast. ZTB, all the way. Cancer as it was also such a fun deck because it was so versatile. It was so capable of doing everything you needed it to do, and it could overcome other decks. And you can't really play ZTB as efficiently with Gear Chronicle as you would in today's formats, as you would other ones like Jet or Fang, or even Steam Maidens, Chronos Command, anything of the sort like that. You have more options with those, because with ZTB you have to play. You don't have to, but you want to play the triggers. You want to play the grade 2 units, and you really don't have the option to do that because they haven't been updated into V Premium. So do I think that 100%? Yeah, I would say that you want to if you want to go down and get yourself a G zone for stuff that is available, go ahead.
Definitely going from like this particular set too, as we're gonna read every card. It's definitely worth, like, depending on the deck you're playing, it's worth getting your pre-order in for this, because at least that way you get your 4 crits, your 8 criticals, I should say, your 4 strides, and your 4 G guards. You have an 8 card G zone which for a beginner going into premium is enough. And there's a lot of older stuff that you can pick up for bulk. Hell, look at what I've been doing with the Let's Build Budget videos. You know, you're able to make a nice premium deck for under a certain amount of money. 150 is the range, and I think that's an acceptable budget range.
It is, especially for people that don't...
If 150 is budget for Yu-Gi-Oh, then it's absolutely acceptable for Vanguard.
And I would say budget's even a mid-range to an extent.
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely something where you're getting a deck that it may not be top tier, but you're definitely not going in with, you know, what might be considered the dregs of the game. You're not going in with the cheapest cards. You are going in with with some staples, with some, you know, heavy hitters that may take some.
And
work.
it looks like you say you already have a lot of the cards from that era, so you're good. Just pick up these and you come up with something. Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, and never be afraid to experiment. You know,
because premium is a highly experimentative.
It is,
format.
And you might find something that could be the next big combo, the next thing to get banned, as I've sometimes said. You know, because it's something that nobody would have ever thought to put together, and because you just so happen to take this, you know, $2 card and this $5 card, and go, maybe you create the combo that's topping at the next, you know, regionals or the next physical events.
Your patient zero.
You get to be patient zero. You get to spread the cancer instead of playing the cancer.
Alright, next we have Genesis. This is Offering Souls, Heavenly Dragon, Jagunda de Larga. I butchered that, but I don't care. The card itself looks really cool.
It does. I'm liking that design. So far, like I said, I'm loving the designs that they're using for these.
And you can also get your play sets through 50 cards. You know, you put in promo code Senpai, get yourself a nice discount too.
Woo for discounts!
Yo, thanks for the follow. Oh, I thought you already followed. Well, better late than never, I guess. So okay, so we went. So it was the Gold Paladin one. You gave that a 5 out of 5. Okay. Okay, so this card, auto on Vanguard once per turn. When this unit attacks, turn a card in your G zone face up. Choose any number of cards with different grades from your drop zone. Put them into your soul, and this unit gains plus 10,000 until the end of the turn. Then auto on Vanguard, when your opponent's unit would put cards in the guard circle other than from deck. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me reread that. When your opponent's unit is put onto guard circle other than from deck, Soul Blast 3, retire that unit. Your opponent looks at the top card of their deck and calls it to guard circle.
Ooh. So basically, the only way to get around this, because it's counting from deck, which means even G guards, I'm assuming, would be susceptible to the skill, right? Because it's when it says when the opponent's unit is put on guard circle other than from deck.
Oh, sweet, you're raiding with a bunch of people. Heck yeah. Thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. So for all the new people, we're going over all of the premium collection strides and G-Guards. And Tim here is rating them 5 out of 5. 5 being the highest.
Yeah. We've had
and so far we've had 2 perfect cards in his opinion. Yo, thanks for the follow. All right, let's go.
We're doing good.
We're doing good. We're active.
Oh, yeah. So, with this card here, what I'm seeing that's nice about it is, first of all, the recycle side of it. That plus 10 is always nice. I mean, swinging in for high numbers never hurts in a game where high numbers are good. The big thing that I see is that basically it's a guard restrict without being guard restricting. Every time your opponent puts a card in the guard circle, and if it activates from the way I'm seeing it, it would be every single time. So if you drop 3 grade zeros, your opponent gets to make you choose the top 3 cards for each one, retire it, and as long as they can pay the Soul Blast. This would also apply to G guards. So you could be really forcing your opponent to take that G guard, which might have saved them, and,
Hmm.
do that. The one way I could see around this, I mean, you would still be retiring the unit, but quintet wall.
Oh,
Going back to the old quintet wall.
if people decide to play quintet walls again.
Well, I could see this being a reason to bring it back because, if this is a card that's going to prevent your opponent from being able to guard without having to look at the top of their deck. I mean, there's always a chance that you could pull a better card to guard with from the top of your deck than what you're throwing down. But there's also a chance you may just pull a bunch of grade 2s or grade 3s or whatever and get kind of stuck.
So what would you rate this?
I'm going to say the 4.5. I'm going to go with that one again.
Okay.
I think we're once again, keeping with the theme of Genesis, keeping with the theme of the deck. It's universal, once again, not hidden behind a gen break.
Or an archetype or keyword.
Yeah, there's no archetype keywords. It's something that's versatile. The biggest thing, of course, is having that Soul Blast. You're definitely going to want to, before you use it, definitely rack up some Soul Blast and definitely come in swinging for high numbers because you're going to be able to use those skills to limit your opponent's guarding completely. You're also going to force them to pull cards out of the deck, which, that means you could literally, flip over the top card or the card. Okay, what if it's your over trigger? All right, well, but it doesn't activate as a trigger. It just, it gets to go into the guard circle. You get to guard for 50. Congratulations, no defensive over trigger. Unfortunately, if your opponent has anybody to recycle, we go to that concept.
Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to Kagero. Hello, everybody in chat. I did update the channel rewards. I think sounds are working. I'm not 100% sure. I'll double check that later. Alright, let's go to Kagero.
Alright. Good old Divine Dragon Knight Barakat. Or Bracket. Be interesting to see the actual pronunciation.
TCG Bell. I noticed you. You were noticed by Senpai. I have a reward that says "Notice me, Senpai," so it just works.
It does. If an opportunity to use, especially a meme, comes up, you should always use your memes.
Oh yeah, no, that's the whole idea of the rewards.
Yes. Always rely on your memes. Just remember that, folks. Alright, so it's an auto on Vanguard. When this unit attacks, cost, turn a card from your G-Zone face up, and if your opponent has 3 or more open rearguard circles, this unit gets plus 10,000 power, critical +1, drive +1 until the end of that battle. If they have 5 or more, all of your rear guards get power plus 10,000 until the end of the turn. Ooh, swinging him for some good numbers for Kagero. First of all, once again, that artwork on that card, it is kind of nice. That being said,
so would you say that this card is about drive? It's about power. It stays hungry.
It devours. It definitely devours.
Yeah, go lay down. You've been streaming for 6 hours. Jeez, yeah. Go chill. Go chill. Go relax. You did it. You did the day.
You've done the deed. Go and take your rewards.
Go rest.
The day is done. The battle is won. We can leave it at that.
There you go.
Okay. This card. It's not as hard hitting as some other Kagero cards out there. It gives you a lot when it's possible. But, your opponent has to have the open rearguard circles. And that, not to say it's hard to go for, but unless you've already hit other stuff that they have, or you're playing against, Gold Paladin, or any sort of Excel clan where you have that extra rear circle that can be counted, it's circumstantial on the time when you're going to use it. You don't want to waste that open space, but if you don't have the required number, which in this case, you're going to want the 3 or more, then you're kind of not getting the full effect of the card. You have to have that, you know what I'm saying? That 3 open has to be there.
Like, the cool thing is when it activates when it attacks. So if you wanted to be cheeky and poke off rear guards...
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But you absolutely could. And Kagero is full of retiring effects, too.
It does, and that's what I'm saying. That's where it definitely does play into the Kagero standard. It itself doesn't retire anything, though. Well, you need 3 open rear circles, which means you got to burn something in the back row. That being said, it's definitely a powerful card. It's not. I'm not in any way detracting from the card. It just doesn't hit right up front from the beginning. It is something you have to set up for. It is something you're going to want to be a little bit more, maybe, at least from my perspective, being a little bit more cautious about using. Definitely good. Definitely fits with the clan. Definitely has a place for it. And we are once again not affected by keywords, not affected by the gen breaks. I'm going to say... I don't want to go low. Kagero's always been good to me, but I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay.
And it's not just being a bad card, only just because...
It's one of those things that you have to rely on your rear guards to be able to...
Yeah, you're relying on the rear guard to get that. But if you play this, that drive +1, that 10k, that extra critical, you are swinging in for, a minimum of... at that point, what would be 38?
Kevin says hi.
Hi. Hi, Kevin.
So now imagine the situation where you pull off your over trigger with this.
Boom.
Because it ends up becoming quad drive, and then it activates when it attacks. It's not a once per turn.
See, and that right there is where, I remember when I was last on, we were discussing some of the issues that were plaguing with over triggers in the game. And that would be one of those occasions where the over trigger just wrecks somebody's day. Because not only is this thing now going to hit for a higher power, plus the crit +1, it's just gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt your opponent. Deep down in their soul, they're going to feel it.
Alright, Nubatama.
Noobs.
Yeah, so this art, as soon as I saw the art, I'm like, wait, that's Bladewing Reiji. He jumped over other clans and renamed himself.
Nah.
Because his V version isn't good. Like, really, look at the wings. Like, I swear, it's...
I see it. I see exactly what you're talking about. And
Yatsuka Lord. So, Aton Vanguard, cost, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Choose 3 unit cards from your opponent's drop zone. Your opponent chooses any number of cards from them and calls them to rear guard. Your opponent's auto abilities do not activate from this call. Your opponent chooses a card from their hand for each called unit and discards it. For each card that was not called from the cards you chose, you draw a card. And all of your front row units gain plus 10k till the end of turn.
Oh, this is really making your opponent choose. Rear guards, but you have to discard, or give your opponent hand superiority. Ooh. Definitely fits with the clan. Again, they're keeping with the theme here. This is definitely something I can see as a universal card. And it's definitely something I can also see as really, really messing with your opponent. Because, yeah, you could have decks like Gold Paladin where I can give you back cards. And you could have cards on the field.
Have a good day at work, Kevin.
Have a good day at work. I'm giving you options with cards to have back. Even though I can give you cheap, I give you triggers. And your choice is to call those triggers or and sacrifice hand, or I'm just gonna get to draw 3 cards, or as many as I pick. You know. I'm gonna give that one a solid, just a 4.5.
4.5.
I think
Alright.
4.5 is good. I think it's yet again universal. It's something that can be popped off at any stage. It's definitely something that can affect you or your opponent in different waves.
Alright. Next we have Tachi's. Now I love the art on this one because they're like, hey, you know the whole just with like Digimon designs where it's like, oh hey, how can we make this more metal? We're like, just put some fucking guns on it.
How can we make the evolution?
They literally gave this thing a Glock. They like, hold on.
It has a Glock for an arm.
Like, no, for reals. Look,
I know.
look. It's right there. They're like, oh, you get cannons and lasers and thunder. What more can we do? Glock.
I just want you to know that if you do the lock, you get the Glock. Just alright. I mean, I'm liking it.
Like someone also put googly eyes on it, and I'm just like, I want this just so I can put googly eyes on it. So it's your turn to read.
Okay.
So this one does have a keyword, but I think this is like the better keyword for Tachi's.
Alright, so this is Tyrannical Magnate Gigantofellow. Gigantofellow. That's quite a mouthful. So
it does have a big mouth.
It's a lot of entendre. Okay, so it does have the auto Vanguard Circle engage or gorge. Auto on Vanguard Circle, when this unit becomes engorged, counterblast 1, turn the card from your G zone face up. Choose the same number of your rear guards as the number of units retired by this unit's ability this turn, and until the end of the turn, they get power plus 10,000 and auto on rear guard circle once per turn. At the end of the battle that this unit attacks, Soul Blast 1 and stand this unit. Oh. I'm trying to think of the best way to. So it's very much Tachi card. Very much kind of a spend to make mentality. You can make this card as overpowered as you want, or your field as overpowered as you want within limitations, or you can go just for little jabs with this card, which is what I'm seeing.
So just to reiterate what engorge is for the audience and for myself, because I'm like, what the hell? So engorge is when this unit attacks, you may retire one or more of your other rear guards. If you do, it becomes engorged till the end of turn.
Yeah. So you could kill off 2, 3 cards, back row, whatever it is.
Stuff on Excel circles.
Yeah, stuff on Excel circles. Whatever your choice on that is, and then it becomes engorged. And then, based on, our ability to read the card, choose the same number of rear guards as the number of units retired by this unit's ability, and then until the end of the turn they get the power 10,000, and then so on and so forth. Not only are you giving rear guards an extra 10,000 in a deck that's an Excel deck, but you're also giving them the ability to restand at the cost of a Soul Blast. And not even a lot of Soul Blast. It's only Soul Blast 1. You're definitely going to need a little setup. You're not going to want to come into this with, just only a couple of rear guards. So it's definitely more of a setup card. But it's definitely one of those cards that mixes with Tachi's to the point where you could easily pull this off and hit for a lot and really force your opponent to either guard or take damage. So I think we're just going to go with the 4 on it. Give it the 4 for setup. But it's still... Yeah, I could definitely see this being something in the future that I'm going to look at and go, I hate this. Unless I'm playing it, and then, you know, that's how it always works. I don't like this card, but at the same time, I play this card. So, what's your opinion?
I'll admit I'm not that big into Tachis. Like, I love the robot dinosaur aesthetic. Like, and the fact that it has a Glock, I'd want to get one of this personally. But I've never really played Tachi, so I don't really have an opinion on it. Like, if I were to play Tachis, I think I'd play Angerblader. And Angerblader isn't even as good as it used to be anymore, sadly.
I remember once upon a time you complaining a lot about Angerblader.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just like, well, at the time too, I wasn't able to ride into Mordred when I needed to, or I don't remember exactly how that match went. But it's like I could not deal with the damn sweeper Acrocantos at all. So, but I like it. I think it's a very nice ability.
It's like I said, it's something that definitely aids the Tachi deck very well. The setup on it is something that, you want to make sure you have the right timing and the right play, but once you drop it, you're definitely gonna do a lot to your opponent. They're gonna have to really think about their guarding, especially on that restand. Because they don't know how many times you're gonna restand. They don't know or what you're gonna restand, when you're gonna do it. It could definitely burn your resources too, though. So I could see that being a issue as well. I mean, you figure if you're restanding 2 to 3 rear guards, and you're dropping 3 Soul Blasts. So yeah.
So out of 5.
Out of 5, a solid 4.
Solid 4.
It's good. And it's definitely got its place. It's just not universal, I would say. Not universal, but it just definitely requires a lot more setup and a lot more thought here.
Alright, we've got Ambush, Demon, Stealth Road, Izushitome. I think I did good on that one. I think I didn't... I thought I was going to be like, oh man, I'm going to mess this up. But I think I did a good job butchering it just right. So, Aton Vanguard, once per turn, cost Counterblast 1. Put a normal unit from your drop zone, on the bottom of your deck, and turn a card facing your G zone. Choose up to 2 of your rear guards. Search your deck for up to 1 with the same name as those units. Call them to rear guard circle. Shuffle the deck. Then, continuous on Vanguard, all your units can attack from the back row, while you have another unit with the same name as themselves.
So as long as you're playing, you got those 2 ofs on the field. I get to swing from the back row.
Like, the cool thing about this is, so okay, the meme is that Murakumo and Nubatama kind of didn't really have any identity.
Yeah.
Not until like G at least. And it's like, okay, well, Nubatama can do this. Yeah, Murakumo was just kind of like, Shadow Stitch, Yasubi, whatever. At least in V, I think the clans were able to kind of re-identify, what they do, their core mechanics, depending on the build. And I like that while Nubatama kind of focuses on, like, manipulating hand, bouncing things back, causing discards, whatever. Murakumo can be like, hey, we're going to call out things and copy names. Literally Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Yay for the Naruto fans out there.
And I think that's really cool, and this card really makes me appreciate that. That's where Murakumo as a whole has come from.
Oh, definitely. And I can agree with the thing of no identity. Nubatama, I would say Murakumo, it had its moments here and there in G, but it never really stuck out. Nubatama, of course, for everybody that remembers the lovely era of Dominate, moment of silence for all of those who stared down the barrel of that one. You're right. Nubatama and Murakumo, especially Murakumo, like in this case, really has done a better job. It's also giving them like that versatility of, okay, well, look at the cards that they're going to call and what those cards themselves are going to do, and the skills are going to pop off from that. You know, it's nice. I can't say I've played Murakumo enough to really give the deck, or to see how exactly this fits in beyond just what I know of the basics. But I think it's a good card, and I think it definitely goes a long way towards giving them something that they can use, especially in V Premium or in Premium, to better identify themselves and better stick out and maybe have more of a combination to them. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and go with probably say a 3.5 on this one. Only reason I'm going low is, yeah, it gives you the ability to call, and it does give you some extra abilities. And I mean, I could be completely wrong on this. Like I said, my experience with Murakumo is very, very minimal. I don't see how it kind of hits hard. You know what I'm saying? If it really gives you that fullest extent of being able to wear your opponent down. Because that's one thing that I really do great on. I suppose I could have said this earlier on, but is the idea of how does this apply something to either give yourself more of a superiority or to break your opponent down. And you want to make sure that you do that in combination with whatever your clan is that you're playing. So I'm going to say a 3.5, maybe a 3.7, somewhere in that range. But that's just my personal on that one.
Okay. Here we go. Narukami.
Alright.
So you've got this one.
Alright.
So Conquering Supreme Dragon, Exterminate Dragon.
Exterminate Dragon. Okay. First of all, that artwork just so badly reminds me of like a beefed up Berserk Dragon. Or not Berserk Dragon,
Demolition
Dragon. You know, I'm liking that so much.
He was an Eradicator, then lost Eradicator, became Eradicator, now he exterminates.
Now he's an Exterminator. I think we've come a long way. So, Narukami, my tried and true clan, my original start in the game. Let's see what we got. Okay, auto. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, cost Soul Blast 1 and draw a card for each of your opponent's front row open rearguard circles. Okay, act. Vanguard circle. Once per turn. Counterblast 1 and all of your front row units get power plus 10,000 until the end of the turn for each of your opponent's front row open. Okay. Oh, this is nice. I'm gonna rate it a little bit lower, and I'm only gonna say the 3.5 on this, only because looking at some of the other cards that Vanguard has for Stride, Stunverse, it doesn't do quite as much. But especially playing against an Excel clan that you've just say Gauntlet Bustered or Dragonic Descendant, you know, them, or even Vermilion, and you've hit their open rearguard circles and they haven't quite had a chance to replenish. Going into this card does give you that superiority, but it's reliant that you've already opened up the circles, and otherwise you're kind of wasting that first skill. So that's the only reason I rate it low. It's good. It's definitely not bad. But the amount of extra abilities definitely require that setup, and definitely be requiring that you've already done the damage to your opponent on the previous turn, and that they haven't recovered from it. You know, because otherwise you're not getting, like, for example, if your opponent has no open front row circles, you're not getting to draw anything, and then you're not getting that extra 10,000 if they don't have any open rear circles. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's definitely very reliant that your opponent hasn't recovered from the previous turn. So I'm gonna say a 3.5 for this one as well, and
Alright.
just stick with that.
Alright. This thing. Everyone thought that this was the Narukami card.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks like it.
So the lore now, or at least the headcanon, is somebody who looked up to Vermilion, but wanted to like go fight people, and join Nova Grappler, and just as to honor Vermilion.
It could be a Nova Grappler dragon who just decided that
Well,
I'm inspired.
Well, it is a space dragon, so
That's what I'm saying. I'm inspired by this Vermilion. I'm gonna be him, but in space.
in space. So fighting Emperor Dragon, Merciless Dragon. Auto on Vanguard. When your rear guard stands by a card ability, cost Counterblast 1 and discard 2 from your hand. Stand this unit, and if it's during your main phase, or if it is your main phase, attack your opponent's Vanguard with this unit. Auto on Vanguard. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. It gets drive -1 until the end of the turn. Now, so I've been picking up Nova Grappler since V started.
Alright.
Because I was hoping for Mr. Invincible, and Mr. Invincible hasn't. But ever since adventuring into Nova Grappler, I really have come to learn to appreciate its aesthetics, its mechanics, how things work, and I love that this card is very generic, but it works with Victor, it works with Beast Deities, it works with a bunch of other different decks that restand rear guards. I enjoy this card so much, and I can't wait to get it for myself because I think this is just going to be so badass.
I can agree with you. I mean, relating it to last night, I got a chance to play your Victor deck, and you know, I'm not that I have too much experience playing with Nova Grapplers outside of Risers and a few other things here and there, but that was a fun experience, and I can, like you said, I can see where this is nice. It's generic, it's simple, it's to the point, it does little but a lot, and
That's true.
It's just one of those cards that it's there. It may not be the first or something you even all go into at all, but it's one of those cards that you could definitely sit there and go, all right, and then you go into it, and you're gonna know when to use it.
I mean, the cool thing about this card is you can essentially get 6 drive checks out of it before it goes to 0. So that's really impressive. Especially with the Beast Deity engine where you're able to restand during main phase.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of cards like Starlit Bird and Lift Taurus, and there's the Order card that lets you restand a rear guard or unlock a rear guard and restand it. So there's a lot of ways to get this skill to go off.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, just kind of changing it up a little bit, what would you rate it then? Given that your love for it and your experience with Nova Grapplers, where would you rate it at?
I would well, because I play Victor and Beast Deities, this is an instant 5 for me.
Okay.
Because it's like, you know, I have the stuff for it, but if I didn't have it, like, if I had to rely on other things to make things restand, it'd probably be a 4. So, my personal bias, it's 5.
Okay.
But understandably, you know, assuming we get more things that can cause restanding from other abilities,
especially in the main phase.
especially during main phase, because not every deck can do it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is only counting for things that restand with abilities. It's not counting whether or not it's in main phase, and when it does, that it does.
Yeah. The main phase thing is just one of those things of getting.
It's
extra.
a caveat to for Beast Deities at least.
Yeah, I mean the one thing I would say with that is, I would go ahead and I would give it the 5 as well. And my reasoning on this is it's something that can be used to its fullest extent.
I mean, just look at that art. Just
That
Taste these fists that have mastered the depths of martial arts.
See that? Then that right there is more kind of like reminding me of like a brawler.
Yeah.
You know, the look is almost like a Vermilion, but at the same time, I also get kind of that. Like,
God, this actually does look like Vermilion. Like, okay, so like I'm looking at your little icon on the screen, and next to this card, and I'm like, you know what? For real, I think
It's
that
there.
I think that headcanon's real.
And it's a good headcanon. It's also, I mean, because one thing I loved with the G era was the in-depth lore that we had, and I really would love to see them bring that back. I think I talked about that once before, and the last time I was on, that it would be really cool for them to do like a little side piece to the series that talks about the interconnecting lore of these cards. And I mean, you could do a side universe for V, or you could tie it in its own little way, or intermix them how you want. But I think that would be just so awesome to include with.
Oh, it's already 2:00.
I know.
Let's go ahead and let's get through. We'll do the rest of Stargate, Brandgate, and then what we'll do is later tonight when we come back from the shop, we'll do a part 2.
That sounds good.
And the cool thing is, like, I'll be able to just edit the video together, so it'll just be a big long video. But for streaming purposes, you know. Okay, so the next card is for Dimension Police. Actually, here, how about I'll do this one and you do the next one.
Okay, that works.
Because as I have been dabbling in Dimension Police over the past year, and I really enjoy it. So, Cosmo Winger Unibird Galaxy. So when I first heard the name Cosmo Winger, it actually made me think of Power Rangers in space, the Mega Winger. So it made me think of not that one. This thing. Okay, good. There it is. So it made me think of this.
I can see it.
Okay.
I can definitely see. I can also see where like the name.
Yeah, it was more the name, and that's
word association and other such
inspirations.
Yeah, I can definitely see it.
Okay, so continuous on Vanguard Circle. This unit gets plus 10k for each card in total among your damage and rear guards. And then it has the burst ability. So this is the second card that we've seen with the keyword ability. Burst on auto on Vanguard once per turn. When this unit attacks, cost turn a card in your G zone face up. If this unit's power is 50,000 or more, until the end of the battle, this unit gets critical +1. If this unit's power is 100,000 or more, it gets drive +2.
Dimension Police, why you do this? Why you do this?
So with Dimension Police being a forest clan, it's not hard to get these numbers.
No, not at all. And
especially with cards with like Die Kaiser and Kaizard, even just accelerating Force 1s on Vanguard is
15,000 to start.
50,000.
No, I'm saying 15,000 for the power. For Vanguard, that starts with 15,000.
Oh, yeah.
It gets the power from the heart, so you're looking at
28.
At least another 13. That's 28. You figure
you're going Force 1.
You're at least 1 to 2 force markers at the time. That could be an additional 20,000 right there. That's 48.
Yeah.
Oh, 50,000 is easy. 100,000.
Especially with things with like Twin Order, that when it boosts, it gives your Vanguard an extra 10k power for every force marker you have. So the more force markers you have, the more with Dizaris, which is a rear guard that after it attacks, as long as the Vanguard's over 35k, it goes into soul +10 and an extra drive.
Oh.
So there's a lot of ways we can get up to that extra drive check. Like, if done correctly, I think this thing could go to 6, maybe even 7 drive checks. If done correctly.
And it's Dimension Police. I mean, it's a setup. It's definitely a setup card, but it's also something that you could use early and late in the game. You know, like I said, if you're only sitting on 2 force markers, you could drop it then, and yeah, you're going to easily top that 50,000 mark and swing for the extra damage. But then imagine later on in the game when maybe you're sitting at 3, 4 triggers or 4 force markers. Oh no, just no. Yes, but no.
Yes, but no.
I've played against Dimension Police, and I've played Dimension Police a bit enough to say that. Oh, that's a 4.5 easy.
Okay.
It has to be because it can do so much. Like I said, it can be used early game, it can be used late game. It doesn't require a lot of setup. But if you get that setup and get that full unlock, you're going to come in and you're going to cause just pain.
Sheer justice and mayhem.
Yeah. Did somebody say justice?
Alright, so the last one's yours.
Okay. We have... Let me get over to it really quick. Alright. Nebula Dragon, Cosmic Dawn Dragon. Everyone's favorite with Link Joker. If you walk, you get the Glock. Alright. So, auto on the Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks, counterblast 1. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose up to 2 cards from among them. And put them on rear circle as locked cards. Shuffle your deck. Then, choose any number of your locked cards and unlock each card or return it to your hand. For each card returned to your hand, your opponent chooses one of their rear guards and locks it. Well... That's definitely very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is it giving you a hand to work with or potential rear guards, you're also getting this ability to start shutting down your opponent, which in decks that really are based on the rear guards, such as, I mean, like we were talking about with the Kagero Stride, you're going to require your rear guards. Well, what happens when you don't have any rear guard slots? You know, you can't call anything out. That's not going to do you any good. It can definitely limit, of course, Excel decks. Hard. Done right. Ooh. I'm going to go with a 4.
Okay.
It's not over the top, but it's definitely a card that can manipulate and kind of just do so much with.
Okay. So what were the cards that you had that were out of 5? We had the Nanda Dragon. I'm gonna put this up for later. The Gold Paladin was 5 out of 5.
And did we give another one a 5? I know you gave...
yeah, I gave Merciless 5 out of 5.
And I agree with that, I believe.
Okay.
And I think that was the big ones that I said were the 5s.
Okay. That way, when we come back later from locals and we start this up again, we can be like, okay, well, these were what you say are 5 out of 5.
Definitely. And, I mean, again, like I said, this is just based on...
And we're, like, a quarter of the way through because, like, I think we're halfway through all the strides... But we still have all the G guards to talk about too.
Oh yay!
So it's gonna be a long night.
Oh no, I mean, I think it'll pass well. But yeah, it's. I'm liking this set though. I'm definitely liking what they're doing with premium. I'm definitely a premium over V premium and standard. So this fills me with determination. Especially coming back into the game right now.
I'm gonna put it back on this because this is just
great art.
Like
Yeah.
I think of the whole set. I think this is like my favorite art. Maybe that'll change, but like so far this is my favorite card art.
I'm split. I have a couple that have definitely caught my eye. Even that Link Joker.
Oh yeah.
You know, I have a love-hate relationship with Link Joker, but there's just so far this set has been great. I'm liking it. Do you have any thoughts about the set so far, based on what we've seen?
I've been enjoying it so far. Yeah, I think the cards that have keywords, I think it's worthy of having keywords. So far we've only come across the two, and that's the Gigantofellow and the Cosmo Wiener.
And one thing that I'd say for both of those is they don't overplay those keywords.
Yeah.
They're not so specific that you can only play in decks that play to them. The Engorge with Gigantofellow is something that you can easily pop off with most Tachikaze cards. It just so happens to have the Engorge ability, which means if you're playing some of the Engorge cards, you have that extra, support.
Yeah.
Burst is pretty much the same way. So, I wouldn't say that they've included any... They're not excluding anything. Most of the ones that I've seen are definitely stuff that you could put into most deck to the respective clan. And even if it's just a one-of. Some decks could play 4, some could play 2, some would play, just 1 that, you may never pop into it, but when you do...
It's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, but when you do, it's going to do its job, and it's going to do it well.
Alrighty. So any last words before we end off?
First of all, thank you for having me back. It's always been great. Second...
You'll be back later today anyway. So.
Yeah, but still, always good to say thank you. Second...
We'll talk about the Spike Brothers later tonight when we get back.
Spikes! Touchdown.
Touchdown. Pass the football.
Of course, I was the ball.
Sports ball.
I think I'm very happy to see the game going in a direction where we're seeing this amazing support for every clan, because I know so many times that especially when it was a special series or a premium collection release like this, it was half the strides were great or decent if you were playing a specific clan. There was a couple that stood out as the top contenders, and then the rest of it was just garbage.
Yeah.
And as a Narukami player, I don't know how many times we saw support that, why you do this? Why you do this to us?
Yeah, Flagiolet, or not Flagiolet, what was it called? Full Grade?
Yeah, Full Grade was definitely one of them. One that you could see that with was when, as a Vermilion player, when Strides first came out, and the only thing we got was Warning. And not to say Warning was bad, but that was all we got.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a Vermilion player, too bad, so sad. You don't get to play. So it's good. It's just very good for the game. It's very, very dynamic inducing, and it offers the opportunity to possibly, with some of these cards, I could see how you could bring in subtypes that were not as popular or not as supported, that you might be able to bring back and go, oh, okay, well, thanks to this card, I now have something that I could use to better play these. So my thoughts. Happy to see the game it's going in this direction. Happy to see that they're doing good supportive work in the premium side of it.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we're gonna leave off there. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thanks for everybody who followed. We got some new. I'm gonna work on the sound alerts later tonight before we go for part 2, because I did add some new channel point rewards. But beyond that, that'll do. Stay tuned for part 2 later today.
Part 2!
Part 2! Alright, you guys have a great day. Stay safe, stay humble. Please wear your face mask. Peace out.
Peace.
Good evening, everybody. Ezel Senpai and Tim.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome back for a late night. Part 2
Ooh.
of going over the premium collection cards. Today has been interesting. So we did part 1 earlier. That will all be up on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's already together. Stop complaining. Pikel. So it's a 4-hour video. So what? I just want to say thank you for your opinion you gave me on your stream earlier. I was able to find some usable G guards from my G era stuff to make the G zone for some of my V decks, so I can use my decks in either V premium or premium formats, or slowly transition into premium decks if I so choose. To be honest, which I really vibe with. Also been looking at premium collection cards and vibe with all the ones for my clan. I plan on turning into premium decks. Nice.
This is good. We need
Hell
more premium
yeah.
players.
Well, okay, like there's this dichotomy, this duality, these other things with pot of or jar of in front of when it comes to the perspective of premium. One downside is some of it's expensive. And yeah, some of it is.
Oh, you got cards
Okay,
from,
here, like
5-6 years ago.
Yeah, hell, even like from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got things that. Okay, you and I are essentially legacy players, so to speak. We were there. Well, okay, I was there from the very beginning, but you were there pretty much there as well. You knew of the game at least.
Yeah.
And so, and like when it came to getting cards, you're like, oh, I don't mind going back, picking up some of the older stuff.
Yeah, and it was a little easier back then. I'm not going to say it wasn't expensive, but it was probably a little bit better than some players nowadays
We're
trying
old.
to get.
Yeah,
We're old. We're old.
So, like, you know, since we've kept up with it since early days, premium isn't that big of an issue for us because we're still on the train.
Yeah. Well, maybe more for you. I know for me, especially finance.
That's yours.
Financially,
That's your
speaking,
drink.
Financially speaking, I know for me it was a little bit harder branching out because I focused mostly on getting everything I wanted for the clans that I was playing. So if I wanted to branch into certain new things, it was a little harder.
Yeah.
In your case, you definitely had the, where you were playing and you were definitely starting to pick up stuff from other things and, oh, well, this looks interesting. I'll keep this. You never know,
So, I mean, like, at the start of at the end of G, start of Premium, I had maybe 5 consistent, like, premium decks. Mm-hmm. If we call them that. Then over time, as the V stuff came out, those decks just got either reinforced or had to be refigured out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, how many V premium decks you got? Oh, I got quite a bit. Now, more than I did at the end of G.
You probably have more V premium decks than you did during the V series.
Yeah. Well,
during the initial run.
During
the initial run.
Yeah.
I would say that one thing that has happened is with the release of Overdress and going into the new standard of format, or the format of standard, V has gotten more interesting and balanced support.
Outside of restriction lists, because...
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously there had...
We've had to deal with fish for, like, a year and a half. Damn Bermuda.
Yes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They hit they hit Bermuda in English. They hit Luard in English. And it's fine. Chris, it's fine. I swear. I promise you, it's fine. Luard's still topping.
We'll give you a hug. It'll be okay. if some of us can get past some of the things we've had hit over the years,
because we've definitely had our ups and downs. Montereza for specific. It needed to happen though. It needed.
Well, it's like Green Katrina. I played Green Katrina when we went to
my counter charge.
No. Yes. Anybody who was
my brand.
No. That's my boy.
For that one.
You literally had the that's my boy. No, my boy.
Father. So we went to our local shop today, and usually today is standard format. The rumor was there were more people playing V Premium and Premium. Yo, how you doing? Dark Angel 6, 8, 9, 6. Yo, how
Yo.
you doing? Doesn't hurt as bad as Percival. You know what? It doesn't, because Gertrude, it just got the buff.
Yeah. So some things, I mean, some things
It's
happen.
like, you guys lost it. It's at 1 now. Yo, I praise it at 1. Bow down to it at 1. It will be the thing.
It is the drill that will pierce the heavens.
It's Austin. Austin redeemed 100 points. Hydrate. Think.
Hydrate. There we go.
We're drinking our barriers. Dude, it's late. What are you doing up? So while we're at locals, we kind of noticed, like, it's mostly become one guy who is topping all the time. The one guy who thinks he's badass, but really isn't. And then everyone else is either, okay, I've gotten into the game, I've been playing for a few months, I've got some experience, and then there's noobs. And it's like, it's a small pond. It is really a small pond, and I'm like, hey, this looks like fun. I think because of that, I think I would want to come back just to be like, look, I don't need to prove that I'm the best, because it's not a measuring contest. But to foster, a community. Look, I have my preferences of formats. I do. But
one thing to consider, too, is, like, in your case, it would be fostering the young ones. You don't need to go in to prove you're the best. The individual we were talking about. And
by young ones, we mean experienced.
The noobs.
Yeah.
Because you're new to the game. You're the young ones.
We don't need to execute Order 66.
I'm not going to do the From the Software methodology on you, where you hear that? You hear that sound? That's the sound of get good.
It's the sound of get good. So it was really eye-opening to kind of see it, hear it, and like you and I, we were just kind of minding our own business. Austin was there; he saw us.
Yeah,
he was cool. I wish I had time to play against him, but he signed up for a tournament, and
we were doing the decks and practicing.
Yeah, I mean, you were working on your Flagbird deck. I was playing with my thrown together Bruce deck, and that was interesting.
Yeah, and that's how it goes. There are good people, and then there are individuals that they can
suck the joy right out of it.
Suck the joy right out of the game.
It's like a succubus, but not the good kind.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get back on topic. So we're doing part 2.
You have to ruin succubuses for me. Thank you.
There's a reason why you have a censored thing right here. There's a reason for it.
Me. Yes, because somebody can give me pants.
The team I'm on is all overdressed, but we all play. Have been playing since OG Limit Break era. Nice.
That's about the time I joined. Limit Break, Legion, and right in that nice little sweet spot in between.
All right. So what we're doing today, kind of what we did earlier, is we're going over all the strides right now, just the strides, because we realize this is going to be pretty daunting. So we got through the first 3 nations. We got through United. We got through Dragon Empire, and we got through Stargate. And so far, Tim found 3 cards that are 5 out of 5 perfect on his first impression. And those cards, to recap, is OTT, Gold Paladin, and mutually agreeing Merciless Strike. Okay, hold on. I just want to I'm bringing this up again.
Here we go.
You cannot tell me the inspirations for this card were not Vermilion. Looking at your Vermilion art right here on screen compared to this.
Well, and then if you go down a little bit, his flavor text is very Brawler or Big Bang. I just look at that.
Like, audience, come on. And I think Bushy did fool us correctly. Like, this was a good, hey, you got me. Alright. So now we're going over... They got us. They got us good. You know what? The fact that it just looks cool is nice. Alright. So now we're going to go into Dark Zone, the rest of the nations. And then tomorrow we'll go over the G-Guards. Because it's almost 10 o'clock here, and I'm tired. but we're gonna push through.
I'm a night owl, or some sort of constantly tired pigeon.
All right. So first up is the Spike Brothers stride. Lawless, Lawless King, Gully Garbarus.
I like that name. I really do.
Gully Garbarus, Batman.
Oh, Garbarus, Batman. Whoosh, whoosh.
This is probably asleep and just like, wait, what? Like, I sense a disturbance in the force.
Stop it. Whatever you two are doing, stop it.
Stop her. Okay, so auto on Vanguard, when your rear guard attacks, that unit gets plus 10,000 power till the end of battle. At the end of that battle, put that unit to the bottom of the deck. This effect is mandatory. Auto on Vanguard, when this unit attacks, cost Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 2 grade 2 or less cards, call them to open rearguard circles, shuffle the deck. Then, all of your rearguards gain boost until the end of turn.
Okay. It's wording. It's unique. It definitely fits into the Spike Brothers builds. You know. Also, that art is great. I'm again just gonna comment that so far I've yet to see a wholly bad art for anything in this set. You know, some of them definitely stand out better than others, but that's skill. Okay, so when the unit attacks, it gets plus 10,000. Then it gets to go back to the bottom of the deck. And then when you attack with the Vanguard, you're going to call out up to 2 grade 2s, and then your rear guards get boost.
So this is easily 5 attacks. It can probably be more if combos are done correctly.
That's what I'm saying. I see.
I
Not so much
know
that-
on the server, Roxas gave us a big like detail of how these combos work, and I'll show you that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. See, what I'm seeing with this is not so much that his skill is good, but that through his skill, you set up other combos. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not so much that he himself is the big hitter, but he's setting up for you to do so much. And then the fact that you're getting that extra 10,000 per attack. Oh. Whew.
Because like the rear guards would attack first, then they have to go back.
Yeah, then they go back. Then the Vanguard attacks. You're going to call up to 2 grade 2s.
Mm-hmm.
That also means
to open rear guards.
Yeah, to open
rear
guards.
And those front row rear guards will already be open.
Yeah. Or supposing you don't call any... I mean, there's various ways I could see you could playing it out.
They could probably go paladin it out somehow.
Yeah. That's kind of the impression that I'm getting. Is maybe like a gold or a really slightly slower royal paladin.
So again, 1 out of 5, what would you rate this?
Okay, so rating it 1 out of 5. All right. I'm gonna stick with a 4.
4? All right.
3. No, say 3.5.
3.5.
It's not so much, like I said, it's not so much that it itself is great, but it sets up for so much more that you could do with decks.
Okay. Next we have Dark Irregular's. Deep Hades Emperor of Ultimateness. Vorflex.
Or yeah.
I just like this that it
Ultimateness.
So Yu-Gi-Oh has a Herald of Ultimateness, and we have a Deep Hades Emperor of Ultimateness.
That's great.
Okay. So Auto and G-Zone.
Ooh.
At the end of the battle, your grade 3 Vanguard attacked your opponent's grade 3 or greater Vanguard. If your Vanguard is grade 3 and your soul has 13 or more cards, counterblast 1, discard 5 cards from your hand, and stride this card in your Vanguard circle at stand from face down. So it's like a Spirex.
Yeah, I can see it.
Then Auto, when this unit is placed on Vanguard circle, if your deck has 13 or less cards, choose up to 3 critical triggers from your soul, return them to the deck, and shuffle it.
Okay. So, I'm gonna first of all go and do the rating on this one, and I'm gonna say that's a 4.5.
4.5.
And the big reason that I see for this is kind of a lot of versatility, especially depending on which version of decks you're playing, where your grade 3 is now a viable option again. Because if you look at the way it's set up, you have at the end of the battle that your grade 3 Vanguard attacked. Your opponent's grade 3. Okay, well, as long as you've got the 13 soul, first of all, you're going to send back those crits, which, crits in the deck are never a bad thing. Secondly, you're going to have the opportunity to stride. So you're going to hit for the 2, or for 2 drive checks. You're basically going to stride. And you're not limited. I like that.
What if I told you there's a way to do 3 Vanguard swings with this?
How?
Okay.
I'm curious. I think I might know what it is, but go ahead.
Okay. So you're playing no life team.
I somehow knew it was gonna be no. How did I know it was gonna be no life?
Any other grade 3. Either like Barrow Madness or Shaharad or whatever. Mm-hmm. So NLK attack, NLK skill, put stuff into soul, ride grade 3, get another gift marker, whatever. Attack with whatever it is, like Barrow Madness for instance. Let's say you use Barrow Madness as skill, put everything in a soul, call out 2 things, do your drive check, whatever. This skill goes off. Assuming you still have enough cards in soul. That's just assuming you have everything in soul.
Mid to late game play.
Then this goes into stand. Then attack. So it's 3 Vanguard attacks.
All of which are twin draw. Well, twin, and then triple. You get to put the 3 crits back. By the way, how did I know it was going to be no life king? It's always in no life king. NOK is just.
So what did you say on this one?
It's like I'm gonna give it the 4.5.
Okay.
I want to bump it to 5 with that knowledge. Only because
you can if you want.
But like I said, I'm trying to be critical of the card. Oh, though, I mean it offers a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna go up to 5. I think it offers Dark Irregulars a really good stride that they can do a lot with.
Okay. It's not ready for the next?
Yeah.
All right.
Is that a mega trick? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's Pale Moon.
Here we go.
Trench and mega trick. Leontina, excuse me. It's late.
Oh,
Auto on Vanguard, when this unit attacks, toss Counterblast 1 and discard a card from hand. Put all of your rear guards into your soul. Choose up to 2 unit cards from your soul for each card put, and call them to rear guard circle. If you called 4 or more cards with different grades until the end of the turn, when your opponent would call cards from his or her hand, until the end of turn, when your opponent would call cards from their hand to guard circle, they must call 2 or more at the same time.
So I see Pale Moons on that crazy train again. Okay. Love the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Very reminiscent in a way. Okay. That is a good skill. It's sticking to Pale Moon, soul charging, and
not
soul charging, but you know what I mean. The putting cards soul, soul manipulation. Being able to call 2 new cards, which gives you the being able to call the cards out, and then the fact is that you can essentially guard restrict at the same time. Oh, Pale Moon.
So out of 5.
I'm gonna say a 4.5.
4.5.
I say the 4.5.
All right.
It's solid. It's, you know, I can't think of the best way to put it. It is late.
All right, next.
Yeah.
Gear Chronicles.
My favorite.
Highbrow Steam Shell Shama. So what this does is auto once per turn. When this unit attacks, bind a front row rear guard and turn a card in your G zone face up. Choose up to 2 cards from your bind zone, call them to rear guard, and all of your front row gain plus 10k until the end of turn. Auto in the G zone. At the end of the battle, your grade 3 rear guard attacked. If this card is face up, Soul Blast 1, bind that card, call this card to rear guard circle. Oh, it is a Gearoid strike. Oh, that's cool.
Also, I love the flavor for this card.
Now then, which dimension should I have it get to?
Time to do some sketchy.
Oh, you did guess. That's fine. Time to do some
like
sketchy shit. Do-da. Do-da.
And I get away with it. Okay, so as a Gear Chronicle player, I'm loving the hell out of this.
So, like, the cool thing is, like, yeah, it's not ZTB.
Which would have been nice.
But this actually benefits a lot with the newer Steam Maiden build.
Mm-hmm.
And it also works pretty well with the original, like, Mystery Flare, Lost Legend kind of, the binding mechanic, basically.
Oh, yeah.
In theory, this also could go well with, like, OG Chronofang.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way I see it is, first of all, you could go, it's going to be the equivalent of playing a ZTB deck with old school stuff in the new school format. But one thing I could see is you could see a possible setup for, like, Demiurge.
What is this? I was recalling V-Calibum after using its skill. V-Calibum can use this attack twice. Nice!
What was that?
Oh, V-Calibum from Clan Collections.
Yeah.
I guess it can be used with this too.
Okay, that makes sense.
We'll have to experiment.
Yeah, I'll have to see that. I could see that being... So, this is cool. No, that last skill. That last skill.
It's an attack extender for sure.
But look at where it says to call the unit.
Call this card to rear guard, yeah.
So
you're opening up, you're binding, this is essentially a time leap.
Yeah, but you're calling a stride to
a rear guard circle. Okay, this isn't too new.
No, I know that.
Because Pale Moon's done a similar thing over the last couple of years.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying, what I like about that concept though is the Gear Groovy combination.
So, okay, go ahead.
So the gear, any variation of this that you do, where you drop back to 3, and then attack.
No, it's attack your grade 3 rear guard attack.
I know that. What I'm saying is the Gear Groovy when you drop back to grade 3. Okay, well, you and I today we played that mirror match.
Okay. So
as you're setting up a deck and you're playing all of these cards that might leave your field open, that as long as you have a grade 3, you're able to attack and bring this out.
I see what you mean.
And how you're creating kind of... I can see Time Leap being very... That's what I'm looking for here. Just very, very interesting with this able to be there.
Oh, no, okay. I see where that Calibum combo comes in. I see it.
What do you see?
Okay, because Calibum, when it attacks, it... you counterblast 1, it returns something. Then at the end of the battle, it binds itself, and you're able to countercharge. Through this first skill here, you're able to choose 2 cards from your bind zone and call them when she attacks. So Calibum do its thing, Calibum do its thing, attack with this, recall them.
Okay, I can see it.
So how would you rate this?
I'm gonna go low, and I'll explain why. I'm gonna say they give this one the 3.5.
Okay.
And the only reason is, as much as I love it, and I see about a bunch of different ways I'd like to use it, it's not an overwhelming card. It's not something that you just pop it in and it gives you that hard advantage, if you know what I mean.
Right.
It's still a good card, though. Very, very nice. Very makes me want to, get it and experiment now.
All right, on to Grand Blue.
You're wasting me money.
Pirate King of Darkness, Bartholomew. So, Otto, when this unit attacks, cost counterblast 1. Choose up to 3 cards with different names from your drop zone. Call them to rearguard circle. And the called units get plus 5k till the end of turn. Continuous on Vanguard. If your drop zone has 30 or more cards, when your opponent would call cards from their hand to guard circle, they must call 3 or more at the same time.
Oh, I'm so badly reminded of the Hollow days. Thankfully.
I want to say this card's a reference to a creepypasta I read several years ago.
Which one? Pirate Cove?
No. So it was actually a Simpsons creepypasta. So the reason why, at the end of each episode, the episode codes are really weird. It almost seemed random. So according to the creepypasta, it wasn't like that. Originally, it was in order. There was supposedly a lost episode where Bart dies.
Okay, I think I remember hearing about this one.
Well, I remember I told you this shortly after I read, because it freaked me out. The family was supposed to go on a trip, and Homer was just kind of more angry at Bart for whatever reason. They get on the plane. Bart is, being Bart. They haven't taken off yet, but he ends up opening the door and he ends up falling on the tarmac, dead. And then there's this funeral scene, and the episode supposedly ends with the gravestone. And so the fact that this guy's name is Bartholomew, he's a pirate and he's undead, I'm just I want this to be a thing. Sorry if I ruined The Simpsons for you, but
welcome to Fireside Chats with Ezel Senpai, where we spoil 30-year-old cartoons for you. Cartoons are older than we are.
Yeah, The Simpsons actually just turned 35.
Yeah.
When I saw my name, I thought One Piece character Bartholomew. Oh, your name's Bartholomew. Cool.
That's
cool. Yeah, no, sorry. I immediately went to The Simpsons, and then the second thought is Barf. I'm a Mauve.
Mog. Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
Just don't puke in the ship. It's a Mercedes. Okay. So when it attacks counterblast 1, call 3 different units to rearguard circle. They gain plus 5. And then if you have 30 more cards in your drop zone, anytime they would try to guard, they have to guard with 3 or more cards at the same time.
Okay, so the problem I see is this is probably it is more of a late stage game.
Oh, yeah.
It's more of a late stage card. Not to say that Grand Blue can't easily get 30 cards in the drop, but it is something that's going to take a little bit. So you have to survive that long. You can still get that first skill with the call, which is really nice. It's an easy way of filling up rear circles really fast and getting your rear guards out. I'm going to stay at 4 on the rating.
Alright.
It's good. It's solid. Like I said, it's a late stage card, which is something that I know Grand Blue could kind of use.
Alright. Okay, before we read this card, I just want to state for the record, this card here makes premium Lyrical Monasterio decks possible.
Oh no. My soul.
Okay. So Otto. So this card's name is Radiant Ocean Hiltrada. I probably butchered it, whatever. So Otto on Vanguard, when this unit attacks, discard 3 cards from your hand, return all cards on your circles other than your vanguard to your hand. Choose up to 2 cards from your hand, call them to rearguard circle, and at the end of that battle, cost Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1, put this card in your G zone face up, and choose one of your vanguards and stand it. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah, only it's 3 from the hand. I like it. Not that I have too much experience with Lyrical Monasterio besides what little I played with you that day and, you know, back when everything was coming out. And, again, in Bermuda? That's perfect. That's perfect.
They essentially got a next stage.
They did, and I'm very happy for that. Not that they need it, because Bermuda's favorite thing to do is to overcharge you in the waifu tax and then rip your soul out in a battle. Literally, they charge you the waifu tax and then they just rip your soul out. You know, just the soul in your body, not the soul in the field.
Yeah.
No devouring the soul. It's nice. It just.
It's a reasonable enough cost.
Yeah, the costs.
And the discard 3 kind of doesn't matter if you're returning everything back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're going to discard 3 cards to your hand. You're going to return units to your hand, which means you could literally call out perfect cards if you wanted to. You're going to get them back.
Yeah.
As long as you can discard, return everything, and stand the Vanguard. And then you still get to call 2 cards.
And depending on what you, what Vanguard, what grade 3 your heart is, you probably do the more attacks.
Yeah. You not to mention combos and other things. I'm going to go with a 5.
5.
I think that gives them everything that they need.
Alright, it's 5. Alright, on to Aquaforce. Blue Furious Charge Dragon. Fury Radius Dragon. I like this card. Just the name itself is cool. Alright. Auto and Vanguard, at the end of the battle this unit attacked, cost Counterblast 1, turn a G zone face up. You get a gift marker. You get an Excel marker. Choose up to the same number of your rear guards as the same number of face-up cards in your G zone. Stand them. Then choose up to one of your rear guards. Move it to an open additional rear guard circle, and it gets power plus 10k till the end of turn.
So the fact that allows you to manipulate your field, on top of getting the circle, the additional Excel circle, which, you know, on a deck that has multi-attack, standing capabilities. Oh, man. That artwork also is pretty nice. It went the same direction as the the Gigantofellow, and literally says instead of guns, we're gonna put laser cannons. They've gone the Digimon route.
The very top one said, okay, what should we design the top gun? Should we get sharks? Sharks with little lasers on them.
Laser beams.
And like I kind of feel like this Stride's design was really based off of Flagbird too.
I see elements of that. And I don't know why that top gun on the right does not look like it's shooting a laser. It almost looks like it's a flamethrower. Like, oh hey, just in case we're not in the water.
It's just plasma. It's just
fucking
fucking plasma.
Yeah, it's just plasma at this point. I've superheated things to the point where the air turns into a molten half liquid.
It's like you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 barrels, maybe 8 barrels.
Plus, I'm assuming those are either some sort of like multi-shot, the circular pieces.
Oh, yeah.
They're either a multi-shot, like laser, or like missile launchers.
No, that's true. You know what's weird? Like these things right here off to the side. You know what they remind me of? The vector cannon from Sword of the Enders.
Oh, God. They do look like the vector cannon.
So what would you give this?
Alright, so, yeah, go down, let me see the red skill again.
There you go.
Just to kind of... Turn a card to your so the cost isn't too bad. It's very easy to accomplish cost. You get the Excel circle. That's the number of face-up cards in your G zone and stand them. Okay, so that gives you that stand, which, as we've seen,
you're already getting 1 to 2 restanding. Assuming you went second, you probably assuming you went first, you G-guarded.
Theoretically,
you go into this in your first stride.
And theoretically speaking, you could play this with Flagberg, get some of the restanding properties of some of Flagberg's support cards, and restand anyway, or of course Aquaforce. And then choose one of your rear guards and move it to an open additional rear, which means and it gets an additional 10,000. So you could move a card that's really good in the front row up to,
or if you just need placement, you just call it to the back. Get your triggers, put it all on it, and use its skill. Hey, open a circle. We're gonna move this stinky boy up.
Just bow chicka wow wow. I'm gonna go with the 4.5. I'm liking it. It's a later play move. You want to make sure you have the right cards in hand, the right setups, but it gives you opportunities to come out swinging.
All right, we're almost done. We could probably keep going. It's only 10, 17. All right, Mega Colony.
We've gone this far. Might as well just plus ultra.
You may as well. So, poison evil mutant deity.
Malignatus? Malign, because I would imagine that would be malign.
Yeah.
So Malignantis?
Malignantis, yeah, I like that. Alright. So act on Vanguard/G zone.
Ooh.
Once per turn, if this unit is on Vanguard circle, this cost may be paid with turn a card face up in your G zone. If this card is face up, cost Counterblast 1 and put a rear guard into your soul. Choose one of your opponent's stand rear guards, retire it. If a card was retired, you draw a card and countercharge one. If no card was retired, you choose one of your opponent's vanguards, and it gets minus 10,000 power until the end of turn. Now remember, if this card's on vanguard, the cost may be paid with just turn this face up.
Turn a card in the G zone face up.
Yes. So otherwise, if it's already face up in the G zone, you're counterblasting one and putting something in your soul.
So let's look at it this way. On the one hand, it gives you a multi-stride option with there. It's usable in more than once. Secondly, it's forcing your opponent to be careful with what they're playing and what they're doing, because if they either have to, because I'm assuming, does Mega Colony have any cards that force the stand on your opponent's rear guards?
Forces them to
the stand on the rear
stand?
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge.
So the skill is dependent on whether the opponent left a card standing.
Yeah.
Okay, so this forces your opponent to attack with everything, even if they don't want to. They have to make sure that they stand, because otherwise, or sorry, I'm got it backwards. Sorry. It forces your opponent to not attack with their rear guard and leave a card standing, or they risk the Vanguard losing 10,000. So you're basically cutting an attack out of the loop. Oh, that could be a difference between winning and losing. That could be you depleted your opponent's hand. They're at 5 damage. You have the game, but if you don't get it, you don't take that attack, and they win, you got it. Or anything of the sort like that, Oh, wow. That artwork's also really interesting. I'm gonna say a 4.
Okay.
It's a good card. It's a very good card. I can't say I've played too much Mega Colony, so I'm not sure what they have available to like boost with it, but I would say just from my limited experience, I would say a 4.
Alright. Great nature.
Yeah, great nature.
Omniscient Stradin, Caladrius. Polly.
Dragon.
Burb. So
Come
Aton Vander once per turn. Turn a card in your G zone face up. Choose all your front row rear guards, and they get power plus 10,000 until the end of turn, and at the end of the turn, retire them. Auto and Vanguard. When this unit attacks, toss Counterblast 1. Choose one of your 30,000 or greater rear guards, stand it, and it gets auto rear guard. When this unit attacks, at the end of the battle, when your opponent would call cards from their hand to guard circle, they must call 3 or more at the same time until the end of turn.
That 3 or more guard restrict is
It's starting to become pretty popular.
And I see why. It's very good.
It's definitely better than the new Dio where it's like, oh hey, every attack, 5 cards.
Yes,
because
my lord.
everything's the same name.
Yes, my lord. Suffer, my child. Suffer. Ow, by the way. Bird hit hard. Just ow.
Bird hit hard.
What did I do to you? You failed college. Oh. Like, now I want to get this and build this just so I could be like, I'm punishing you for not going to college.
Did you finish college? No! Why do you think I put this deck together?
Why do you think it took me 6 months to build this? I didn't go to college. Nothing against not going to college. So it is for some people, it isn't for others. So don't feel down. Okay, so choose one of your 30,000 or greater rear guards and stand it. And that rear guard has the guard restrict on it.
Yes.
That's actually pretty cool. So not only does it give the extra 10,000 to the front row, it turns around and it gives a unit with 30,000, which isn't hard to do in Great Nature. I'm gonna go with the 4.
Okay.
It's good. It's got its place. It's not the game-winning card. I mean, it doesn't have to be the game-winning card, but it adds something to the Great Nature to the plan. All right.
Last but not least, Neonectar.
Yay, Neonectar! Bring back my girl Katrina.
No.
Free Katrina.
Free Katrina. Flower Princess of Compassion. Ladislava. So, Aton Vander once per turn, discard a card from hand. Choose one of your rear guards, search your deck for up to 2 cards with the same grade as that unit and reveal them. Choose up to 1 card from among them and put it into your hand. Call the rest to rear guard and shuffle the deck. Then, auto on Vanguard, when this unit attacks, cost Counterblast 1. If you have 2 or more rear guards with the same name as each other, choose 2 of them and restand. You know, now that I read this, it's Mordred Phantom.
Yeah.
It's literally Mordred Phantom. What are the 2 units that are the same that are restanding? Blaster Dark. It's literally Mordred Phantom.
It's Mordred Phantom. I see.
But as a Neonectar.
So the plants were just like, you know what? Them Paladin...
How dare you stand where he stood? Except this card's not going to be over $20 because it has Revenger in its name.
Look how cute it is.
3 months later. Why is this card so expensive?
Why is this card $40? Damn you, Robert. Damn you. it's I see it being. I see a lot of combos with it.
That's true. I do have my Mordreds.
Passion. Make me want to rage quit. Just, flip the table into outer space and just walk out. No. Mordred actually was really fun to learn to play against. I know when you were playing it a couple times, we were doing play testing and stuff. It was nice to. It's challenging. It does the same moves. You pretty much know what it's gonna do. And figuring out the best possible ways of getting around it and surviving the attacks was actually just a really good learning experience. So
okay, as someone who has played Neo Nectar before, what do you think?
Free my girl Green Katrina, but beyond that, because they won't. I think it's a good card. Cowards, yes. They wouldn't free my boy Wingull Brave until it was too late. Now they won't free my girl Green Katrina. It's not cool. It's not fair. I think that this offers. It's not an over-the-top card for Neo Nectar, which already has a lot of potential over-the-top moves it can do. So I like it. I'm gonna give it the 4 as well, only because again it's not a superly overpowered card, but it's something that very easily fits within multiple sections of playing Neo Nectar. It doesn't just fit in with your Asha players, who I think would probably benefit from it the most, I would say.
Depending on the build.
Yeah, well, it depends on the build, but...
Well, I think Musketeers use it too.
But I'm talking about, who would use it most effectively, would you say?
Honestly, that's tough. Probably Asha, but... It would probably have to be, the older Ashas.
Mm. Something where Bloom comes into effect.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about, is anything that plays where the multiple copies comes in, I think you would get a really good benefit from. That being said, I do see how I could play this with Musketeers. I love my Musketeers. They were, having branched out from, playing Kagero and then Narukami, Gear Chronicle, and then building a Neo Nectar deck. And granted, I went right into Green Katrina, and that was just an overwhelming... I understand why that card got banned, and I completely agree with it. This fits, and I see where I could put this in my deck. I could see running, 2 or 3 of these and having maybe even 4, and having just that ability to be able to call out, and not just that, but to be able to restand, so more attacks.
Just do 5 attacks, possibly more.
Yeah, I mean that never hurts.
So what would you rate it?
I'm gonna go with the 4.
Okay.
It's not super powered, but it's something that it fits into the deck, and it's good. Like I said, I've yet to see a bad card in the set. Some things that maybe aren't quite as good as they could have been, and then some that are just like the Gold Paladin. Yeah, that's everything you guys ever need. I know I talked about that earlier, and that's. That's why I got the 5. The one for Dimension Police, again.
You mean Novas?
Or Novas, yeah. It gives you that edge, So, yeah.
Alright, so now we're finished with the strides.
Yay.
We got through them all. We got through all 24. And just as you were saying, there were no bad ones.
Yeah.
You picked out, there was 4 of them that were 5 out of 5 for you.
Mm.
So it was OTT, Gold Paladin, Nova Grappler, and Dark Irregular.
Yes. Ironically, none of the clans I play.
Okay, what's your idea?
We need ideas.
Let's see this idea. Okay, just message it. Just message it to me. So what we're gonna do in the meantime, the G guards.
Okay.
The G guards are pretty cool.
G guards. G guards.
Oh no, Mr. Krabs, I have an idea. Okay. So what this card does is when it's placed on guard, when it's put on guard circle, choose one of your grade 2 units, and until the end of the turn, it gets plus 10k shield. And auto, when this unit intercepts, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit till the end of that battle.
And see, I was like, choose one of your units and enemy hit till the end of that battle. Oh. So that's an interesting concept. Because the two ways that I see this being used is, what happens if you intercept? Does it just basically act almost as like a perfect guard?
Yeah. The cost is counterblast 1, soul blast 1, PG.
Okay. The other use of this is protecting a grade 2.
Yeah, I think I left my watch in the bathroom. So go ahead and finish your thought.
Okay. This basically acts as a PG, but it also acts as a grade 2 as a grade 2 protection. So if you have a grade 2 that you want to hold on to, you don't want it to get hit from any number of cards, Gauntlet, Vermilion, anything that's gonna wipe it out. It protects it. I mean, it's not gonna protect from being bound, but you don't have to worry about a grade 2 you might want to lose getting lost. So that's nice. I like that. I mean, do you see any other combos with it?
Honestly, it's just an able take. I have an intercept that can become a PG. I think that's good.
Oh yeah.
Then it's like, oh well, I won't attack your Vanguard. Then I'll attack this thing. And it's like, oh okay, you do that. Where the frick did I put my watch? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm like, where's my watch? It's not on my wrist. I see yours, and I'm just like, where'd mine go?
As you take it out of water protect mode.
Yeah.
I recognize that sound.
Yeah, I like it. It's a very nice sound.
Yes. There is, on a side note, nothing like having a watch that you don't have to worry about.
PGG guards.
PGG. Well, it's perfect. It's a G guard that turns a grade 2 into a perfect guard.
So what would you give it?
We'll
look at it real quick.
Got good art, definitely. Very, very nice and subtle. Let's see. I'm gonna
Kind of
say...
reminds me of a Leviathan from the Mega Man Zero games. I don't think you never played it.
But I know who you're talking about. I watched a playthrough of... Is it the second one?
Yeah, she was in that one.
Yeah, but I'm trying to... I watched a playthrough of one of the games. I was feeling nostalgic and... I'm poor.
I'll put a picture and edit. And YouTube can be the audience of that. So, out of 5.
I'm gonna give it... I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
It's good. It is reminiscent, or not reminiscent. It is dependent on having that grade 2. So it is possible for the skill not to be able to pop off if not done right.
Right.
So I'm gonna say a 4.
Okay. Then we got OTT. One who builds the 8-fold fence. Octagonal Magus. So auto, when this unit is put on guard circle, cost counterblast 1. Choose 2 grades from among 0 to 3. Declare them and reveal the top card of your deck. If the revealed card has any of the declared grades, you put the card into your hand. If you put a card, this card gets plus 15 shield until the end of that battle.
Okay. So you pick amongst the 4 possible grades. Well, 1 through 3. There's no 3.
Yeah.
You pick 2 grades. You reveal the top card. If you get it right, you get to put a card in your hand, and you get extra
plus 15 shield.
Plus 15 shield.
Now keep in mind, Magus stacks the deck.
Yes.
Legally stacks the deck.
Yeah, legally. That's what I'm saying. That's the next point I was actually getting into. That even then, there are OTT cards that allow you to look at the top of the deck and put it back or put it on the bottom. If you know full well you may have to G-guard on your next turn. I'm going to rate this one a 5. I think it gives OTT... It's not as luck dependent. Because OTT already pretty much sets you up for this. Now, obviously, there's going to be times it's going to get played where you are hoping on a wing and a prayer. But you got a 50-50 chance. You're calling... You have a choice of 4 grades. You get to call 2. And as long as it's one of those. So you have a 50-50 chances no matter what. I'm gonna say a 5.
Okay.
That's also a high grade number 2. Because you think about it, that's an extra 15 on top of 15. You're looking at
least 30k shield.
Yeah, 30k shield that's coming in to save you.
Super Mobile Hospital Firmament Grants.
Some of the names.
Some of these names. Auto, when this card is put on guard circle, Counterblast 3, Soul Blast 1. Choose a card from your damage zone and call it to guard circle.
So, let's see.
So, for example, if you got a PG...
Yeah, you can call it. It's really good. And I'm going to give it a 4. I want to go higher, but not. That it is a bit of a price to pay. Throwing out 3 counterblasts plus... Now, the bright side is, it is Angel Feathers. And Angel Feathers are, very good at manipulating the damage zone and not having to worry about counterblasts being a thing. Sometimes Soul Blasts. I know from my experiences playing Angel Feathers, I've run into Soul Blast issues before. So, it's a bit of a thing. So, I'm going to go with the 4. Okay. I love the name, though.
Alright. Just time for Shadow Paladin.
Shadows!
Dark Dragon! Deep Griever Dragon!
Dun, dun, dun.
Auto, when this card is put on guard circle, choose up to 5 grade 1 cards from your drop zone and put them to the bottom of your deck in any order. This card gains plus 5k shield until the end of the battle for each card put. If you put 5, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until the end of the battle.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this one the 5. And I'm going to explain why. So, first of all, recycle. This basically recycles. This says, oh, hey, you got 5 grade 1s, you can recycle them back to the deck. Now, Shadows kind of wants the grade 1s in the deck, but it's not like it's hard for them to put them there. So the fact that you're getting 5 cards back, and you can control how much you want this shield to guard. You only need it to guard 10,000 or 20,000. You put 1. You only need it to. You want it to guard 4. For an additional 20,000. Put 4. You're facing down an over trigger. And I'm saying, say your opponent hit the over trigger on the drive check. Now you have a rear guard coming at you, or a standing vanguard. Okay? At the cost of that, look at that. Counterblast 1, you don't hit me. I don't got a PG anything, just you don't hit me.
If premium Luard wasn't so goddamn expensive, I would build it with it. Yep.
Yeah?
It's true. That is for Luard. So 5 out of 5.
I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5. Just because it's Luard from, in the shadows, just sitting there giving the middle finger to everybody.
Alright. Golden Dragon, Sanctified Dragon.
I'm not even going to comment on that name.
Sanctified Dragon.
Sanctified with dynamite. Some out there might get that joke.
So, Otto, when this card's put on Guard Circle, Soul Blast 1, loot the top 2 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 units from among them, call them to Guard Circle, and discard the rest. If you called 1 or more grade 1 or greater cards, draw a card.
Okay.
So, this card is a very mixed version of Slay Me when it comes to picking up multiple cards. And Alicia when it comes to, getting some sort of benefit.
Okay, so the one nice thing of it is you get to draw. You get to call 2 or more cards, which could be like a perfect guard. It could be 2 15k triggers. It could be, hell, even the over trigger if you have to go that far.
Just need to make sure.
Supposing you're playing that and not Ultima.
Yeah, if you called 1 or more grade 1 or graders, draw a card.
So, my only issue with it, because I want to give it a 5, but I'm not going to. My only issue with it is the fact that you're picking up 3 cards from the top of the deck. 2 cards, sorry. And you're either forced to use both of them, which you might as well just do because they're going to get discarded anyway. Mm-hmm. So no matter what, you might as well drop them into the guard circle, even if 1 is all you really need. Now, the benefit of it is like we said, if it's a perfect guard, you can kick it off. If it's a trigger unit, that's additional power.
Shield.
Additional shield. That if it's a grade 3, it automatically fills your condition
to draw.
But that's where you can get a problem is, what if it's 2 grade 3s?
You get a draw.
You get a draw. Yeah, and the 15k, obviously.
And, well, I mean, I think it also depends on the card as well. There's certain cards in Gold Paladin. Now, hold on. Let me look through the stack of stuff real quick.
I was about to say, let's not go look through the immensible Gold Paladin collection, and we don't have that kind of time.
We don't have that kind of time. We have all the time.
We'd be here all the way into next week. It never ends, folks. I've seen the drawer of Gold Paladin.
Oh, here we go. So essentially, in your case, like if it is a grade 3, there are grade 3s like Edmund.
Okay.
That say, when placed, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this card gets plus 10k shield.
Okay. So what you're saying essentially is,
it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, but I'm talking about how many people are going to be running that.
It varies.
It gives you.
Edmund's a really good card. It's a great budget alternative.
It does, and it also gives you a reason to run it even in higher budget decks because if you're possibility of this.
It's a budget Adlevel.
Yeah.
With added defense.
It's also worth noting that even if you hit the 2 grade 3s, you get the free draw. Yeah, they go to drop, but there's a lot to it.
So what would you rate it?
I'm gonna give it.
And be as brutally,
I'm gonna
as
give
possible.
it a 3.
Okay.
I hate to go low like
that's
that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. It you might as well play Slay Me, to be honest with you. I think you get more out of Slay Me than you do out of.
Well, the one downside of Slay Me is you have to have a rear guard to fully benefit it.
Yes.
At least in that case, it's like, hey, don't worry about it. Okay. A heavily support Bright Dragon. Arnvart. Artavarda. Okay.
These names.
Otto. When this unit's put on guard circle, put a card from your hand or rear guard into your soul. And this unit gets plus 10k shield to the end of the battle. Then put a total of 2 or more cards from your hand or rear guard into soul. Choose one of your opponent's units and it gets critical -2 until the end of turn.
You know what?
This is kind of another version of the Heal Guardians. if you think about it.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and say right now that
And this is for Genesis.
this is a 5.
All right.
And my reasoning on this is build the soul. It gets an additional 10,000, and you also get to hit for critical -2, which means your opponent has to basically double crit you to come back on the board. That's that's hurting your opponent, and I see a lot of ways, a lot of decks that you could be playing against where even what's what I'm looking for here? Even certain situations, for example, I mean, hell, it could shut down what's the name of that card? The Zeroth Dragon for Zoo.
Zoa.
Zoa. You know, it does say reduce any unit.
No, okay, so in that case, even if you decrease the critical,
yeah, you're still
because it's still hit,
yeah,
they'll still win.
Yeah, they'll still win. Alright, so no matter with that. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the 5. I think that gives so many extra options for them. I mean, like I said, it builds the soul plus 10,000, and then turns around and forces a unit to lose the criticals, which could mean that you're blocking a vanguard attack, and when they give those critical, like a critical to a rear guard, you're reducing the possibility. If your opponent's playing on force 2,
that just becomes with. All right,
yeah.
On to Dryden Empire, and then we'll go to part 3 tomorrow morning.
Yay!
Part 3. All right, Blaze Dragon Dance, Selma. Auto. The number of cards discarded from your hand for this card's cost is reduced by 1 for each of your opponent's open rearguard circle. When this unit is put on guard circle, toss Counterblast 1 and discard 4 cards from your hand. Choose one of your units and it cannot be hit until the end of the battle.
Well, let's see. I want to make sure I just kind of reread again, just to be double sure I got it.
Gotcha. So if they have a full field, or even like, if they even have 1 rear guard, you don't pay a discard cost. Because the discard cost is a variable at this point.
Yeah. So. What it is the number of open rear guards. The more there are, the less you have to discard.
Yes.
Okay. So where this works out well is kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the Kagero Stride, where you kind of already need to have hit your opponent down or have cards in hand for your rear guards that can do that. This works well on one of those turns. If your opponent's trying to swing at you with some big numbers, but he's only, say, running one vanguard, what?
Eugene!
Exactly. If you've already hit your opponent down and you've knocked out what they have, their
Premium Eugene Chads, rise up.
I have a play set now. I might just build it. I have to build it now. Actually, you forced me to have to build it. Why you do this to me, Binky? Why you do this? I like this. It's a situational G-Guard. You don't have to pop this out. You could run one of them. You could run 2 of them. Kind of like Head Around for Gear Chronicle. It's not the card that you have to go to first. It just so happens to be the one that when you do, it makes the most amount of impact because it could take an overpowered rear guard and go, nope, back to the deck with you. Begone, cretin. Parry this, you filthy casual. You know.
Parry the casual.
Parry the platypus casual. No, parry the platypus casual. There we go.
So out of 5.
Out of 5. Give it a 4.5.
Alright.
It's a good G guard. It's not perfect, and it's situational, but it's definitely something that's just like.
Alright. Mirror Lord. This is for Nubatama.
Okay.
So, auto, when this card is put on guard circle, cost Counterblast 1. And this unit gets plus 5k shield until the end of the battle for each of your opponent's, for each card in your opponent's hand. If your opponent's hand is 4 or less cards, draw a card.
So, I like this. I like this because this is a win-win. Okay? Either you have a large hand and have hand superiority, and I get an additional 5k per card in your hand. Or you have low hand superiority and I still get to draw. This is completely not independent on what my status is. I could have a bunch of cards in hand and be perfectly safe, drop this just for whatever, get to draw. Or if you have enough, I get to do this. This gets a 5.
Right.
You get where I'm coming from? It's a really good win-win card. And its cost is so little.
Alright, Fortified Marquise. Legal Garter.
Sounds like a lawyer. This sounds like this card went to law school.
Better call Legal Garter.
Just
It's all good, man.
it's all good. Oh my. Get out.
Auto, when this unit is put on guard circle, cost, retire any number of your rear guards. And this unit gets plus 10k shield until the end of the turn for each unit retired for this ability. Draw a card for each unit with the equipped gauges that were retired for this cost.
So we are seeing a
Legal
return.
Garter.
Legal Garter. And it's a Triceratops, essentially. Yeah, he went to law school. Never mind.
It passed the board.
It passed up. I took the bar, and I went to Harvard.
It interned at Dinosaur Office.
It went to bar you.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Wait. The main Triceratops in Dinosaur Office. Like, wait, hold on. Wait. Oh my gosh. So say things that you liked about this or dislike.
Okay, so the one thing I'm gonna say is it does bring back keywords. This is the first one we've seen where we're seeing the keyword with the equip gauge. So it is kind of dependent a little bit on that, and that's kind of limiting. That makes me only want to give it a 3.5. And it's not to say that it's a bad card. It's just you're limited in its usage. Well, no, I'll say 4, because there is a lot of stuff that you can do with equip gauge. But
Craig,
God, I can't believe we've gone to Dinosaur Office.
Oh my god, that's the Triceratops from Dinosaur King. Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing. What was the name of the Triceratops?
On Dinosaur King?
Yeah.
What was the name? Hold on. I'm looking it up. We're almost there. Hold on.
You guys remember Dinosaur King?
Or are we that old?
I mean, I was, I think, 19 or 20 when the show came out. So, but I remember, like, that show was a thing.
So depending on which one you want to, the English name was Chomp.
Chomp!
Gabu, if you want the, what it was called for the Japanese.
Okay, that makes sense. Chomp!
I remember this show.
Chomp is all grown up and got his legal degree.
Gauntlet Buster went to...
He's breaking through corporate barriers.
Gauntlet Buster became an idol. And the Triceratops went to law school. The future of Cray is very diverse and equal opportunity.
So what would you do, Chomp?
Earth needs to take a lesson from Cray. Let the dinosaurs rule. I'm gonna give it a 4. Oh.
Hey, it's the one bad guy from Bleach. Aizen.
No. I've had enough death battles and various other things to talk about how he's the best. No.
When this starts put on guard circle, choose one of your rear guards, and it gets auto on rear guard at the end of the battle that your opponent's unit attacked. If the attack did not hit, cost Soul Blast 1, you may return this unit to your hand until the end of the turn. This unit gets plus 10,000 shield until the end of the battle for each of your units with the same card name as the chosen card. We have a whole movie series, and why we shouldn't let dinosaurs rule. If they're smart.
Has anybody seen all the Jurassic Park Twitter feeds where it talks about, like, don't shout if the dinosaurs are attacking you because you might spread COVID. Be considerate of your other guests. That's a really important thing to keep in mind in these modern times. Is just because you see bad things doesn't mean it's always bad things. The dinosaurs are okay. Fish are friends, not food. I don't know where I was going with this, but
Aizen.
Don't take me back to that. Okay. So I think that's a solid skill. I think that's definitely Murakumo-ish.
I got the theme song stuck in my head.
For which one?
Dinosaur King.
Oh, God. So, what's nice about it is a big shield booster. It does give you the opportunity to do a lot and to protect yourself. One issue that I do see is what happens if you're playing against a field where you're locked or your opponent, stun burst you or something like that where you have no field?
I don't know. Some Bleach overpowered, ability will happen.
No!
Because it's Aizen.
Take your Bleach loving self and no. Anybody who believes that...
So what would you give Aizen? In his OP
A
abilities?
picture of him getting out. Being told to get out. Just me pointing at a window telling him to get out. I'm gonna say a 3.
Okay.
It's very field dependent, very kind of setup-ish, and it's very easy to miss those power bonuses or the shield bonuses if you're not kind of set up and if you're playing against the wrong decks. Yeah.
All right. And last one for tonight.
Yay, my favorite.
Narukami. Sky Guardian Supreme Dragon. Counteract Dragon. I just want to call attention to this art.
I want to set to take note of that name, Counteract. As in counter-terrorists? As in Counter-Strike?
Okay. So when this starts spin on guard circle, your opponent chooses up to 2 of their front row rear guards and binds them. If the 2 cards were not bound, Until the end of the battle, this unit gets plus 10k. And if no card's board bound, it gets another plus 10.
Do you want to take a guess?
So it's a 5 out of 5?
I'm going to give it the 5.
Is that out of sheer bias?
No.
Okay.
Here's why. Having played Narukami, and to know that it plays a lot of the destruction. You're burning your opponent's field. You're binding him stuff. And the problem with that is it can make it very hard for your opponent to recover from that. And you're basically on an attack saying, sacrifice 2 cards to me. Okay, you have 3 choices here. You can sacrifice the 2 cards, and I only get a 15k shield. You can sacrifice 1 card, and I get an additional 10k. Or you can sacrifice, you don't sacrifice them, and I get an additional 20. So I can have a 35k shield, destroy your front row, and have open rearguard circles on my turn, start of my turn, when I have cards like Gauntlet Buster that punish you for having open rearguard circles. I mean, the downside to this is playing against a Royal Paladin, or a Gold Paladin deck, or an Excel deck in general, but Gold Paladins will say, where you can just, burn 2 cards off circles.
It's a budget impede.
Yeah. I like it. I'm gonna give it the 5, and that's not even biased. I mean, because I wasn't biased with the stride.
True.
I told you flat out. It to me, it just wasn't. It wasn't as fitting. Maybe I'm coming off of looking at things like Stunverse and some of our other more recent support, and just saying that I feel maybe could have got more. Okay. But it fits. It's a middling card. So yeah, I would say of the G Guardians, that's.
All right. So, okay, that's it for part 2. We'll finish the rest up tomorrow morning.
Woo!
Thanks for joining. It's been very late. Exterminates is a very good stride.
Oh, definitely. I would say everything that I've seen, and keeping in mind, I mean, my opinion is, because I did step away from the game for a time. So, remembering what's out there and knowing some of the newer cards, I don't quite have all of that together still. I'm still getting caught up and getting back into it. So a lot of my ratings are just based off the personal opinion of looking at viability, not just with 1 or 2 particular builds, but multiple, as well as having playability. And when playing against, say, myself, if I was playing my Gear Chronicle deck against this card and you were to play it, how easily do I think this could overpower me?
It works!
Say Eisen one more time, and that's pretty much,
It works.
You're gonna have emotional damage.
Soundboard works.
He got the soundboard to work, folks. It's the end of the world as we know it.
Alright, thank you guys for joining the late stream. Soundboard works. Good. We're good on that.
We have memery for tomorrow.
We have memes for tomorrow. Absolutely. Anything you want to end on?
Thank you guys for listening to me ramble. I think that, just again, based on what I'm seeing here, Vanguard's going in a good way, especially premium. For those people who are getting into premium, or maybe even are thinking about premium, my only input is, if you want challenge, if you want diversity in the game, not to say that V Premium and Standard don't have it, but Premium, to me, it's my favorite. It offers you the opportunity to play not only historically to the game, but also with just degeneracy, as I like to call it. But really what it is it's the ability to create new combos that nobody would have ever thought of. Using, it could be a card from the beginning of the game mixed with something that just came out, and it could create a steamrolling combination that could take you to the top. It could literally be the next combination that gets banned because everybody goes, how did you look at this card, put them together and make this work? You know, and that's just so fun to me. So I hope to see more people playing premium, that this sort of thing does influence people to join the game and to play premium.
All right.
That's about it.
That's about it. All right. You guys have a good night. Good morning, everybody. As a Senpai and Tim.
Hi.
We are back. We are in the final stretch of rating every card in the new premium series. We've got 13 more clans to go. We're gonna get it all done today.
Ooh. The torture ends.
Alright, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first off we left off at Narukami, and you gave this a 5 out of 5.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Mediutizer Stiffnoid. So auto, when this unit is put on guard circle, cost counterblast 1 or more. And this unit gets plus 5k shield until the end of the battle for each face down card in your damage zone. If you paid 2 counterblast or more this turn, draw a card. If you paid 3 counterblast or more, draw a card.
So this definitely helps to kind of save your bacon when...
Let me just look at that.
I'm telling you, most of the art in this set just... I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. What do those Top Guns remind you of?
I was actually thinking the same thing with the Angel Feather G-Guard too, because I was like, it kind of looks like the SDF-1.
Yeah, well... Do you remember love?
Alright.
We will win.
We will win.
Okay, so yeah, so like I said, I mean, that's definitely one of those things where, you know, this could save your bacon, especially if you're later in the game and you've got those face downs. Not only is it going to give you the draw factor, but, you know, kind of being able to play up more. It could also be looked at as kind of wasting resource, though.
You're essentially going to be counterblasting 3 to draw 2.
Yeah.
But you're getting a big shield too.
Yeah, you're getting an extra 15k on if you do the 3. So I see it being kind of just that trade-off of, you know, your perfect timing. There's other G guards you could use, and this could definitely be one of those ones of, oh hey, I need to build hand, or you know, I've got the opening to do so. So yeah, I mean it's both.
There you go.
You know, it's not an every moment sort of shield, but it's definitely one that's useful. You know.
So out of 5.
Let's go. I'll be harsh. I'll say a 3.5.
Okay.
It's still good. I'm not in any way dogging it. Just it's not feasibly playable whenever you need it.
All right. Giant armored beast. Duraga Modulis. Oh man, these names are getting so hard to pronounce. So this is for Dimension Police. So auto, when this starts put on guard circle, cost Soul Blast 1. Choose 2 grade 3 normal units from your drop zone. Put them into your hand, and this card gets plus 5k shield for each card put into your hand.
Okay. So this kind of goes with what I was talking about for the last one. That's something that you can use pretty much at any time. Free grade 3s into your hand to get the shield.
Hydrate.
Yeah. Always hydrate. Drink water.
Even if it's carbonated water. Anyways.
I had a point I was going to make with water, but just drink water. Hydrate. Even if it's carbonated. But yeah, so this is something that has a bit more use. It's not super drawn out. It's not circumstantial, really, except for, making sure you have the grade 3s in the drop. But you get grade 3s to hand, which could save you with recycling or, misplays or any number of things that could happen. Poor unfortunate luck with your, triggers or something. But yeah, I think it's a good card. Solid, simple, very basic cost. I mean, it's just Soul Blast 1. Think about the last one, Counterblast, 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say a 4.
Okay, 4. And then we have Link Joker. So this one I had to reread a little bit when it first got revealed, because the wording of it makes it sound like you can... I'll explain it as we go. Terminal ending darkness. Big Ripper.
Loving the name.
Auto, when this unit's put on guard circle, cost Soul Blast 1 and lock 1 or more back row rear guards. So I'll admit, when I first read this, it says, well, it doesn't say your back row rear guard, so is this like a denial griffin? But no, I was wrong. It's your rear guards. And this unit gets plus 10k shield until the end of the battle if you have 2 or more locked cards, draw a card.
Okay. Well, that artwork.
It's got the multiple hands.
The black holes for ultimate, space identification. Because everything in space has to have a black hole. I like that. It's basic. Cost is easy. You're getting a little bit of higher numbers compared to what you could be with some of the others. I mean, because you're getting that 10k right off the bat. And it's not like most like Joker decks can't unlock their own cards. I mean,
there's even some that like just don't care.
Well, yeah, and it's back row. It's not like you're limiting your front row attacks. It's just, you're not getting that boost. And even then, you could lock behind the Vanguard. Doesn't have to be the other two. So, but it's like you said. Some of them they don't need to care. I'm gonna say a 4.
Yeah, okay. 4. All right.
Boy, what will come up next?
Spike Brothers. So, Compassion Queen, Villainous Yvetta. So when this unit is put on guard circle, costs Counterblast 1. Choose 3 normal units from your drop zone, and this unit gets the original shield, their original shield until the end of the battle. If you chose 1 or more grade 3 cards, draw a card. Put all the chosen cards with this effect to the bottom of your deck in any order.
Okay. So that gives you the opportunity to recycle.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you the opportunity to pull some pretty good numbers, because there are, cards you could pick that have shield of 10 or...
As long as they're normal.
As long as they're a normal unit. So that sets up a lot of grade 3, a lot of, and as long as one of them's a grade 3, you're getting that. It's good, I'm actually surprised that the cost is not a little higher. I'm gonna say a 4.5 out of that one.
4.5. Nice.
Also, welcome back to the succubuses. We have returned to that conversation.
Man, Force Wing Princess. Nerd Jarvis.
Jarvis?
Yeah, Nerd Jarvis.
Jarvis. Just...
When put on guard circle, counterblast 1. Choose one of your opponent's units for every 10 cards in your soul. They get critical -1 until the end of turn. Two units get critical -1 if your soul has 20 cards. So kind of reminder text.
That's nice. That's basically a, hey, my soul is stacked, so -1 damage. You know, that's taking away your opponent's ability to hurt you, or making it harder for them to hurt you. And the cool thing about it is that you get to choose which unit it is. It's not just a, what's attacking.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh hey, I'm gonna guard this attack and this one over here, minus. So I'm gonna say a 4.5.
4.5.
I think it fits with it. With dark irregulars, it's very universal and just opens up for a lot of possibility.
All right. Jester Demonic Beast. Flexion Chimera. Auto, when this starts, put on guard circle. Cost, put one or more cards from your hand into the soul. And this unit gains plus 10k until the end of the turn for each card put into the soul for this cost. If two or more cards were put into the soul for this cost, your opponent chooses one of their... Excuse me. Your opponent chooses one of their stand rear guards and puts it in the soul. So it's kind of like a head around, kind of like denial.
What I say about it is
it's like, hey, you have a rear guard you're stacking triggers on, put that in the soul.
Yeah, which is where it has like that head around or denial feel, but
Jeez,
not just
where was this during Valkyrion restand? Oh, hey, you got your Valkyrion there? Hey, put it in the soul.
It'd be a real shame if somebody made you put it into the soul. And having played a match against people where you head around them and both of you misplayed on the replay of Valkyrian. Yeah, that would have been nice.
Michael.
Damn it, Michael. That's good. High guard, possible high guard numbers if you're maintaining a relatively good sized field. Not to say that you are, but on the off chance it happens, a plus 10k for each. Woo. So, I'm gonna go with the 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah. Universal, very good uses, potential high numbers. And the cost is very easy.
Alright, next, Gear Chronicle. Interdimensional Dragon, History Vision Dragon.
Oh boy.
It's funny. We had the darker regular one called Nerjarvis. Now we have History Vision.
Yeah.
I can just do this.
So much.
So when this unit is put on guard circle, cost discard one or more cards whose sum grades are grade 3 or greater from your hand. And this unit gets plus 20k shield until the end of the battle. If you discard cards with the sum of their grades being 6 or more for the cost, counterblast 1, choose one of your units and it cannot be hit till the end of the battle.
Okay. That's actually pretty good. With a deck that has grade 4s in it, being able to drop a grade 4 and a grade 2 or 2 grade 3s.
Or if you're still a madman, Valkyrion and a grade 1.
Yeah. If you're a mad lad, like he said, Valkyrion and a grade 1. If you're the mad lad doing that, I salute you. It's good. It's easily attainable. it's not like your Chronicle doesn't have enough, especially in Premium, to be able to draw and maintain that. It's not like they don't have the cards, like I said, having the grade 4s. And then, oh hey, I get 20,000. And as long as my grades are 6 or more, then I get to counterblast 1, and basically you don't get to
PG.
You know? So I have the option with that. I could discard a grade 3 or, 2 grade 2s or something, and I could reach the 20,000 if I want to go that route. Or I could just straight up deny you. I want to give this one a 5. And I hate to because it seems
partial bias.
But no bias. I see the overall. You could put this in just about any build and it's usable. And it provides that kind of that protection gap that some of Gear Chronicles G Guards lack. Not to say that they lack, but you play Gear Chronicles, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you. All right, Grand Blue, Moon Singing Diabolic Princess, Oriana. Auto, when this card's put on guard circle, cost counterblast 1, and the attacking unit gets -1 critical until the end of the battle for every 10 cards in your drop. That's just simple.
That's simple, and that hurts. And it fits with Grand Blue. Oh hey, I'm gonna have a bunch of cards in drop, which is my playground, and then I'm gonna turn around and punish you for it. How am I gonna punish you, you ask? Yeah, no damage. No damage.
Was that a Consuelo?
Yes, that was a Consuelo. A horribly done one. Oh no.
Mr. Overtrigger no here right now.
Overtrigger no work. No.
So out of 5, what do you think?
I'll give that a 4.5. I mean, it's bordering even going up to a 5 just because it's simple, it's basic, it's multi-use, and it's just like...
Alright. This is Diva of Salvation. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it.
Let me see if I...
Lacrice? Sure. When to put on guard circle, counterblast 1, return it... Lacrice. Counterblast 1 and return a normal unit from rear to hand, and perform all the following abilities to the grade of the card returned to hand for this cost. If it was 2 or less, this card gets plus 15k shield till the end of the battle. 3 or more, choose one of your vanguards and it gains plus 5k till the end of the turn.
So it's multi-uses because it's not just... It could be used as a G-Guard, and it could also be used to kind of bolster your Vanguard. I mean, if you're sitting at, say, you hit a trigger, and you're sitting at that higher number, and you want to add that extra 5,000 so your opponent now has to kind of push a little harder, or some of those rear guards that maybe had 19, 20,000 on them, can't poke at you. It offers that ability to do what Bermuda already does. Hey, return normal unit to hand. I'm gonna go with a 4.
You can go with 4.
4. It's not over the top, but it's very solid for Bermuda.
What do you think of the flavor text? Just as a...
Okay.
Because I see it and I'm just like, that's kind of poetic.
Let's see, flavor text. Alright. It's not the blade or pen that saves the world, it is her voice.
We will win.
I was about to say the same thing.
Okay, let's see here.
Thank you, Minmay. Thank you.
So today I played some V Plus format, V Premium with G Zone, to see if it was worth it for me to turn my V Premium decks into Premium decks. To be honest, it was quite fun. Good.
Very good. I mean,
it seems most of the time I played normally, didn't even stride, and just did the effects of V and only really strided when didn't have other options to play, or stride play was a better option. So we'll not get premium collection cards, even though I was thinking of getting them, to be honest. Because if I most time playing decks as pretty much V is not worth getting into the G zone. So overall, for me, a V premium is better than. Okay, okay. So I'll give you credit that you tried at least. Good job. So the benefit of premium is the G zone is an option. Some players make their G zone their whole purpose, but it is an extra resource there, like G Guardians, for instance, like this, for instance. It's good. And a lot of premium is built off of a V base, so yeah, you'd be kind of playing the same way. There are a lot of older cards too, like grade 1s and grade 2s, that offer maybe good resource management. So, I mean, but hey, I give you props. You tried. And that's all that matters.
This is true. My input on it would be, like you said, you have the benefit of the G Zone being that secondary option. You also have your G Guardians, which can act as an extra, basically source of defense, as well as, depending on what you're playing, recycle or damaging your opponent, limiting their field reactions, or field interactions, or things like that. It's definitely with whatever works for you. I completely get it. With Narukami being one of the clients that I play, there was a lot of arc stuff that you really didn't need anything from the G Zone. Until they gave us Stunverse. And then Stunverse was just, hey, on the off chance that you're not playing Vanquisher or Descendant, you have this, but if you are playing it, you have an opportunity. Here's a chance to make your opponent cry. Stunverse also offered the opportunity to deal with, say, like Grand Blue. Oh, hey, you're not going to have those 10 or so many cards in your deck. I'm going to take them away from you, as well as your hand, as well as your field. So it's up to you, and definitely if you feel that you're good with what you got, at least you tried, at least you made the attempt. But always keep an open mind. Always keep up on your research, and because you may see something and go,
wait a minute. This and this, and they do this and that, and just like this, or like that. It's like, hey, go to Denny's. You want to go to Denny's? And it's just like, it just works.
It works. It always works.
All right, so you gave this a 4.5.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Aquaforce. Rebellious Heavenly Flow General Dianaria. So when this unit is placed on guard, or put on guard circle, cost Counterblast 1, perform the following depending on which battle of the turn it is. First battle, choose one of your units and it gets plus 5k till the end, 5k power till the end of turn. Cool. Fourth battle, or more. This unit gets plus 20k shield until the end of that battle. Very simple, very straightforward.
So,
good art.
Very good art. Loving it. So one thing I like about this is they went for first battle or fourth battle. Okay? And it's the reason why that's so interesting to me is this is kind of like an early defense, or as well as giving an extra 5k power to something, which can, like, once again, it limits the possibility of it being hit or making it harder for your opponent to hit. This could be the difference between a Vanguard swinging without having to boost to them having to waste that boost to do something. But that fourth battle, how many freestanding rear guards have we seen?
So many.
Okay, it just one time, even just in
this multi-attack in general has just become more of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So having it be 4th battle or more is very useful.
It is, especially considering how I don't know how many times having played against, and once again we'll go back to Gold Paladin, the Ezo player that's sitting on 2, maybe 3 Excel circles where he's swung with the rear guard, swung with the rear guard, swung with the rear guard, reset the field. Glorious Reigning is a thing.
Like,
Well, amongst other things.
I'm just over here doing combo, like, hi.
Aye.
So what would you rate this?
I'm gonna give this the 5.
You're gonna give it a 5. Hell yeah.
And it to me it is situational, but it does something for the multi-attack of the game, especially with restanding vanguards, with decks that are Excel that can easily swap out their field, or decks like Royal Paladin that can, continue to pull stuff out. Your Lyrical Monasterio decks, that some of them that can continue to just poke at you. Aquaforce itself, playing in like a mirror match or something. It just it offers everything you could need, and it's very tactile.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think that's the right word I want to use, but
yeah. Constraint Mutant Deity, True Wibble. True Weeble.
Is that like Cruel Weeble?
I'm imagining so. Yeah.
Wow.
So when the starts put on guard circle, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gains plus 30,000 until the end of the battle. Your opponent chooses any number of their rear guards and rests them. This unit gets shield minus 10 until the end of the battle for each unit that was put to rest. So it has a high shield, and it incentivizes the opponent to, I will rest a bunch of my rear guards to make you lose shield.
So, this is very good for the clan, and because this and that artwork, by the way, that's I'm reminded of something and I can't think of what. But anyway, so this offers a lot of defensive options. I mean, like you said, your opponent either has to let you have a 30k shield that could stop a big attack or prevent you from having to drop more cards, or they have to sacrifice those rear guards. Now, the cool thing about this wording is it does specifically state that it has to be the units that are put at rest.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't count units at rest.
Right.
So that's very nice. It's very because that can.
So it's like, oh hey, you want to make sure this attack hits? Well, hey, your other attacks?
No. And especially if you're looking at the Vanguard.
You think you're gonna try to poke me with your multiple attacks? Nice try. What's another 17 years?
Another 17 years. The memes. I'm gonna give it the 4.5.
All right. Whew, that's a big name.
Oh, that's what she said.
That's true. Or he. We don't judge. Sebketaville. So, auto. When this unit's put on guard circle, counterblast 1, discard the top card of your deck and perform one of the following effects depending on the card's type. Normal unit. This unit gets plus 20k until the end of that battle. Trigger unit. Choose one of your units and it can't be hit till the end of the battle.
So that artwork for starters. But that... I know it's not, but that almost looks like a corgi with fangs.
It does.
So I'm kind of worried for the great nature, which is recruiting vampire corgis to play the guard.
And it's an honorary dragon.
It's an honorary dragon. Yes. Oh wow. Okay, so the nice thing about this is either you get it's pretty simple. The cost isn't too high, and you get one of two effects: either 35k shield or perfect guard.
And depending on which Great Nature build you're playing, you could probably get both.
Just possible, yes. I'm gonna give that a 5.
Okay.
It's very good. It's not limiting. It's not situational. It's literally just a drop, do the skill. Either I'm plussing to 35 defense, or you're not hitting me this turn, or hit me with that, and with that attack, and that's nice.
Let's see here. Yeah, some of my V decks, I've done spicy changes and not normal builds because I like I like this and that. It seems like cooler interactions than this card. Okay. Yeah. Wait.
Go for off the wall stuff.
Off the wall, yeah.
Because that's where at least for me, the experience lies, and that comes from dealing with this one here. And I mean, we both did it,
Holly.
But going through stacks of cards because we didn't have the top stuff. Maybe we had some of the better stuff for what we wanted to play, and this is even going back to the days of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm. And
going through and finding combinations based on bulk we had of just older random cards, or this combination which no one would have thought to have topped with this because this combination isn't playable anymore. So hey, well, what happens if we put this in there? Let's find out. And so those off the wall combinations, yeah, that's where it's at.
All right, last but not least, Flower Princess of Dedication, Robertina.
Yeah.
That's funny. Auto, when this unit's put on guard circle, choose a total of up to 2 normal units of the same card name as each other from your drop zone or rear guard, and put them to the bottom of your deck in any order. If you put 2 cards, countercharge 1. And this card gains plus 15k shield until the end of the battle. If only 1 card was chosen, put it to the bottom of your deck.
Okay. I'm gonna say the 4. Nice artwork. Flowerful. I see green. For my girl, Green Katrina. Green Katrina 2024. It's very basic.
I think if Green Katrina did come back, I would want to be choice restricted with Cyclone.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too would be
because it's like, oh hey, you're just inviting more problems. Yeah, Zarzan's gone, that's fine, but I think still in combination with Cyclones, just like it's too much.
I'm gonna tell you right now because I only ran 2 of the Cyclones when I played it. You can't bring Green Katrina back without doing some kind of errata to her skill. You would need to do something there. I don't know how many times I managed to pull out columns and just wreck my opponents because I had the opportunity. It's the only thing that can be said about it is there's a lot more defense, a lot more stuff out currently that I think, especially even with this set, that does kind of push Green Katrina back a little bit. But with some of their other support, I could see Green Katrina being very toxic. Maybe not as toxic as it was, but still, even without Cyclone, just no.
So you gave this the 4.5.
I'm gonna give this 4.5. Yeah.
All right, and with that, we're done.
We did it.
So the rest of these cards are the critical triggers.
Mm.
The premium collection ones. They're getting reprinted common.
Which is nice.
So I don't know why the Wiki doesn't have them listed, but we did it. We did.
It took 3 parts.
It only took 3 parts, probably a couple hours. We did it. Ooh, let's see now. There we go.
And we just focus on my boy Vermilion in space.
Vermilion in space. But there we go. We've gone through all the cards.
We have.
So as a set, now that you've read everything, what are some of your favorites?
I'm excited for the gear support, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think the gear support is all around very, very much on track with the kind of stuff I like to play. Just, it's hard to pick. I mean, this makes me want to go out and pick up certain clans myself, just to play some of these cards. I mean, oh, I'm loving it. Let's just first of all start with saying that I'm loving everything that they've sent. You know, Merciless Dragon was definitely one that caught my eye. Of course. I'm not looking forward to fighting against Gold Paladin. You know, now that they have a restanding Vanguard. Puts a little bit of fear into my soul. Now we gotta get Gigantifello because, you know, googly eyes. And if you do the lock, you get the Glock.
That's true. So let's see. Before stream ends, who said it was gonna end?